Anyway, let's get into this. You guys voted for this video. It's from Bill's YT. I'm assuming that means YouTube, or that he's white. Anyway, or both. I don't know. Anyway, it's called How Playback Exposed the Hypocrisy of Fresh and Fit. Seems interesting, you know? So let's just get interested, and let's get this party started. Like I always say, if any moment of this video resonates with you, timestamp down below. Helps me out. I love you. Let's go.
Oh, it's getting shaky. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave. I got 20 real estate properties. You, especially the—
Whoa! I don't think he has 20 real estate properties. He might have 20 fake estate properties. Also, let me know if the video needs to be louder. But I'm pretty sure he's a sussy baka. He's lying.
Men who claim to be like alpha red pill, that end up getting like the most emotional about it. You lied.
It's true. It's that male emotion, okay? It's very true.
It was funny you lied. That's why.
You know what's annoying? I know I'm going to yap because I had an issue with this yesterday. This is something that's kind of annoying, okay? Men and women tend to express their, we'll say their emotions differently. Men tend to get angry. Women tend to cry, right? Whatever. What's frustrating is that, like, and obviously these red pill guys are, like, totally, they're very emotional. They just don't think anger is an emotion. It is. One of the things that I noticed yesterday is that if a woman, if she's upset about something, whether it's justified or not, if her emotional release is crying, she's better off than a man's emotional release, which is like being angry and trying to get rid of that anger in some way, hopefully productive, right? Okay, this is here's what I mean. Like yesterday, I got angry at my wife over something that I was wrong about, but I didn't realize the context of it until we talked in person. So we talked in person, and I got this angry energy. And the way that I've learned to productively express it is to talk to my wife and be like, I'm upset about this. I don't like how you did this. This made me feel bad. And it feels good when she goes like, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean this. You know what I mean? But I didn't get that release because I was in the wrong. But I still hyped myself up because I'm like, this feels really shitty. Like, you did this bad thing to me until again. So I'm just sitting there. And the whole day yesterday, I've just got this angry energy sitting on me. But if I was a woman or like I was a crier, which women tend to cry, and that's okay, I would have been able to cry and get it out anyway, and I would have been fine. But instead, I'm sitting there like a grumpy asshole the whole day because I have no way to process this because, like, the way that I constructively, express that is through talking to my wife and her apologizing to me. I'm just like so fucking angry for no reason. And then I ate a bunch of food, which made me feel a little better. But, that's probably not a super productive thing, But I thought that was interesting. So.
Why people reacted.
A couple of years back, I made a video called Agent Zero's Triumphant Rise on YouTube.
Ooh.
Agent commented on this video and wrote, like a trip down memory lane. Appreciate the words, bro. As a fan of Playback and being a small YouTuber
that's him.
at the time, I was extremely happy that he commented. While we wait the return of Playback, let's take another trip down memory lane. But this time, let's relive some of the craziest battles.
Yeah, my preferred black content creator is FD Signifier because he shouted me out. And Brion, because he's half white and it makes me feel more comfortable. I'm just being stupid.
Between Playback and Fresh and Fit. Many channels including Abba and Preach, DJ Academic,
oh yeah, I like Abba and Preach.
and many more battled Fresh and Fit leading up to their permanent demonetization on the YouTube platform. But today,
well, yeah, I mean, I guess that is what happened. I mean, they got demonetized because they decided to, like, be incredibly racist to Fresh and Fit, to Abba and Preach. They look the same, right? Kidding. Abba and Preach, and put like monkeys on their profile pictures next to Abba and Preach, so like they were racist, so they got demonetized. Like, idiot move,
Today's video will focus on Playback's contribution to exposing Fresh and Fit as the liar.
Like, it's so, I know I'm talking a lot, but it's so stupid when people get angry, and I'm guilty of this too, and then they hurt themselves to hurt somebody else. Like, it's just like, that's how I try to think about it. Like, they're playing a video game online, League of Legends. Somebody does a bad play, okay? Somebody takes a red buff, or they don't leash you, and you get so pissed, like, I'm gonna ruin this game. Well, how does that help you? Right? And that's what they did. They got angry at Ab and Preach, so they decided to make this joke that was detrimental to their career. Any idiot would have been able to detect that, but they were they were like wanted to hurt Ab and Preach so bad they hurt themselves. It's incredible.
Liars, frauds, scammers, and hypocrites they are. Agent Low reacted to and exposed Fresh and Fit, so their audience would hopefully never become anything like Myron and Walter. The messed up thing is that even though Fresh and Fit are still demonetized on YouTube, to this day, they are still actively abusing YouTube's copyright system. They are still claiming any video that uses content from their podcast.
Are they? So I don't They might elaborate on that. I don't know how true this is. Only because they are claiming videos, but they are releasing the claims. So I had like Fresh and Fit claim like one of my videos or two of my videos a while ago. They released a claim. They usually just let it expire when there's a claim. It's an automatic claim. You could put in a petition or whatever to be like, hey, this is still valid. They have like 30 days I think to respond. They usually just let them expire. So, but there's a lot of automated systems that people will use that will automatically claim, and they just will not honor the claim, if that makes sense. So I wonder which one of it is. Is it like, are they explicitly stopping it, or are they just putting in the claim? Which, by the way, if you don't notice that you have a claim put in for you, like they could still extract your revenue, but
even if it's under fair use. Just 2 weeks ago, a Cheetos Fresh and Fit video was claimed. Fresh and Fit are all about freedom.
Yeah, claimed. They probably released the claim.
Freedom of speech when they want to be anti-Semitic, racist, and misogynistic, but are completely against other people speaking freely about how they are frauds and scammers. Abusing the copyright.
Yeah, in the past they abused the copyright system. Again, I don't know if they necessarily still do it, but
claiming process is one of the reasons they were.
Does the video get demonetized if they strike it? What happens is like they'll usually put a copyright claim in for it. My video stays up, and they get all the revenue. That would be how it is. But then you put in a claim and they will potentially reverse it. Like I said, they usually let it expire. So
kicked out of the YouTube partner program in the first place. So it's crazy that they are still using the exact same tactic to silence anyone who challenges their opinions. I guess this is why they are still demonetized to this day. But let's get into how from 2021 up until today, Playback has been exposing Myron and Walter for who they really are time and time again. Playback and Fresh and Fit are two creator duos who give their opinions on the internet, but their similarities end there.
Well, they're also black, so. Okay.
Playback is made up of Dean and Marcel, aka Agent Zero and Legend of Winning. Agent originally started off as a 2K gaming YouTuber on his channel Agent Zero Gaming, and later joined the YouTube group Any Means Possible, or AMP for short. You might have heard of.
Dude, there's so many people who blew up through doing I think never mind.
HYPOCRISY, another member of AMP. Agent later created an additional channel called Agent Zero, and now also streams on Twitch. Agent's original clip channel was called The Agency, and he now uploads clips onto another channel called Agent Zero Everything. Lowe started out as an NBA commentary YouTuber on his.
I was gonna say a lot of people get big on NBA 2K or whatever it's called. Like Aiden Ross and all that. It's like what that's very interesting how like prolific that game is.
Channel Legend of Winning, and later created two additional channels called Foot on the Line and The Low Post. I believe Lowe and Agent originally met on a basketball podcast around 2016 and became friends. They started the peer-to-peer podcast together in January of 2020, where no subject was off limits. In April 2020, Agent and Lowe started reacting to trending videos on Agent's channel.
On the podcast, when I said we were best friends and you said Robert was your best friend, I was like,
damn, he best friend cucked him, dude.
Oh, but nigga get jealous of somebody else's best friend.
like, how come you can't have two best friends, man?
But you my brother though. You know what I'm saying? You my brother from another mother.
Listen to a song real quick.
Which one ranks higher, brother or best friend?
I'm flexing.
How long until this gets demonetized?
That shit was worse than I thought, Lo.
I ain't gonna lie.
It's not worse than you thought.
Then in December 2020, the two decided to create a new channel specifically for these reactions called Playback.
I can't.
Damn, what a shame I don't have any friends to do that with that are content creators that I like. No, I like people. I'm actually just very bad at working with people. I might do some more content with my wife. We're thinking about it. It would be more. We're thinking about it.
Yo, it's the one and only Legend of Winning, aka Low. We back with another Playback.
If you Google Fresh and Fit, this is what comes up. Fresh and Fit is a self-improvement podcast. We help men.
No, they're not. Fresh and Fit is a victim crew for young men who don't want to work on themselves and would rather blame women for their problems. And this is the thing. Men and women, we all have different problems. I think I expressed before, like a problem that disproportionately and negatively impacts men about the expression of frustration and anger. But when you start just blaming another group of people for your problems, rather than actually trying to improve your own group, that's when it becomes like a hate group and it becomes stupid. Everything this happened with any racial group, ethnic group, fat people, like fat advocacy, LGBTQ advocacy. If it goes to male advocacy, these all things are good things to advocate for. But some of them go to like a disproportionate area. And if it hits that area, that's when it becomes like a victim group where you're not looking to improve, you're just looking to blame.
And become better with dating/game, fitness, social media, and finances. Order Myron's new book, Why Women Deserve Less, here. I'll just let it speak for itself. The podcast began as a part of the manosphere, men's rights, and red pill movements. You might think that Fresh and Fit's opinions are
To be honest with you, I haven't seen a single red pill creator that it wasn't dog shit, so.
Or rage bait, but here's how you know they're not, and they're actually being dead ass.
Men can't
difference is if you say
they do rage bait. They sensationalize the way that they feel about stuff. That's how they blew up on like TikTok, and that's why they got banned on TikTok, because they're trying to be provocative rather than just express themselves productively. But like they still believe it.
anything that holds women accountable for their poor fucking decisions. A lot of you motherfuckers are jellyfish. No fucking spine. And that's the reason why a lot of you motherfuckers are fat, triple chin, neck bearded, pieces of shit, fucking dorks with no money.
I imagine being really fat would make your spine stronger, no? Because you have to hold up all this weight.
No one fucking respects you because you motherfuckers don't stand for nothing. If I stand with Fresh, I die with Fresh. It is what it is. It is what it is, you motherfuckers.
This motherfucker will prioritize his friends over his own values. That's coward shit.
Oh, shit.
What a loser.
I got 20 fucking real estate properties, so I can tell motherfuckers, fuck you. My net worth is over $6 fucking million. I get money residually. I don't fucking need to do this shit. I don't even fucking sell my soul. I stand with my fucking friends. Period.
Also,
This guy's friends with an actual rapist, Andrew Tate, so I don't know what to tell you.
so if Fresh and Fit was rage bait, they wouldn't be trying to strike down YouTube channels who disagree with them. If Fresh and Fit is about male empowerment, then what is this?
Well, the thing is that they want this is the thing. There's different types of negative feedback, and like they want the good type of negative feedback. They want like the feminists to be like, oh, they suck. They're so misogynistic, so they get to say, see what's working. But when other men criticize them, especially that are in closer proximity to them, that have like audience crossover, like Abin, Preach, and Playback, then it becomes like, oh no, I don't want them to criticize me because this is actually hurting my audience. My audience is looking at me as worse.
It's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your f***ing shirt
Because
off.
I've been-
Tell me you're f***ing proud
Because
of
I've been to f***ing prison?
Jesus Christ,
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison?
bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits.
The Fresh
Ooh, got him.
and Fit podcast is hosted by Myron Gaines, aka Fit,
That's proof that trans women are women because they got tits. And men don't have tits. You know what I'm saying, dude? This guy's very trans affirming.
and Walter Weeks, aka Freshpin CEO, or Fresh. They created their podcast in October of 2020 and had conversations about fitness, dating, and gender roles. If you aren't familiar with Fresh and Fit,
Yeah, jellyfish are fucking crazy though. They stingy and stuff. Nobody wants to hang out with a jellyfish. So a jellyfish is an alpha, you know?
a better description of their podcast is they invite like 10 women to sit at their table, and for an hour straight, they spew a bunch of nonsense and L takes.
What Fresh and Fit does is they invite OnlyFans sluts, whores, to come onto their podcast so that they can berate them and try to make it seem like all women are as entitled as these women doing OnlyFans. And the reason those OnlyFans girls go on there is because despite how much the audience pretends to hate them, their audience pays to jack off to them constantly. They spend all their money jacking off to OnlyFans whores. So they like it when the guy's like, haha, fuck you. And then they go and they spend $100 on every single one of them that go on every single time. That's why the girls go on there, because they're getting exposure and it's positive for their brand. Okay, so that's all that's happening. They're just exposing these women to their podcast. And without that show, people wouldn't watch. They tried to put it behind a paywall, and it's like their best performing show because that's all people want to see. So, like, that's all they are yelling at women. That's it. Any of, like, the finance stuff or whatever, it doesn't do well. Not nearly as well as their other stuff, because nobody actually watches them for that. They watch them to see them berate women. So
If any of the women disagree, they will cut them off to tell them how worthless and useless women are. And sometimes they'll even rage and kick them out of the room. Basically, Fresh
but then when men give them pushback, they start crying, you know?
and Fit walked so Andrew Tate could run. In order to sell their online courses and profit off of impressionable young men, Myron
say
and
that-
Walter have convinced
I'd say that Andrew Tate has actually made that
their audience that
made that atmosphere stronger for them, and they capitalized off of the atmosphere that Andrew Tate created. I would say, I'm going to turn the sound off this, don't worry. That's what I'd say more than anything else, because then once Andrew Tate had all the controversy, all of a sudden you saw things started to shift. Like they started to lose, they started to lose their shit.
adopting their ideologies is the only way to succeed as a man. The biggest way they push this is by promoting the idea that there has been a huge decline in the character of women, or as they call them, modern women. In my opinion, there's some pretty interesting characters in the world right now.
People in general are shit. Young people are getting mature slower. That's like there's absolutely a thing. Young people are getting, they're taking longer to mature. That's just the reality of the situation. And so you see like more mature people in general, but they also hang out in Miami, Florida, where it's just all prostitutes that are trying to plug OnlyFans and stuff. And so they pretend that the women that they hang out with, which are children, they're like 18, 19-year-olds. And I know that they are legal adults, but I'm 34. So they're in their mid-30s too. They're hanging out with kids. That's what they're doing. They try to make it seem like that's all women. It's not. There are a lot of different women. You just are singling out particular types and trying to make it seem like that's all the women there. And they're so immature. They're just then go hang out with better women. You're 30-something years old. Go hang out with an adult. You know what I mean? Like but they want to be able to berate these people.
Male and female. Out of the almost 4 billion women in the world right now, only a tiny percentage are actually the IG models and OnlyFans models Fresh and Fit claim to hate so much. I say this because Myron says the decline of women is so bad.
I think that they said like 50% of women anywhere in like the United States or whatever could just get a call from somebody from Dubai tomorrow and they can go get flown out there. It's like, what are you talking about?
Majority of women shouldn't have.
Like most women aren't attractive enough to get that call, okay? And most women wouldn't take it, to be honest with you. It's weird.
Have the right to vote anymore. Also, if they truly hated these, as they call them, clout-hungry modern women, wouldn't it be a lot easier to just stop only associating with these categories of women? If Fresh and Fit
Well, yeah, but that's the only women that they promote on their podcast.
fans stopped listening to the podcast and buying online courses and actually put effort into finding a woman in real life, they would realize there's plenty of women to choose from who aren't.
There are, but they don't have fathers and they don't have basic respect. They don't respect their own mothers, so they don't like have any respect in them. That's the problem, is that these men haven't learned respect, and they haven't like the reality is that like you have to bring more to the table as a man than you ever have before. Back in the day, you were making the money and your wife stayed home, they cooked, they cleaned, they took care of the house, they took care of the kids, they did pretty much everything. Now you have to work and you have to take care of the house and you have to take care of the kids. That's what you have to do. And if you're not willing to do it, there are going to be other guys that are willing to do it. That's really what it boils down to. So you have to bring more to the table because women are working more now. Women are making competitive wages. So you don't get to just say like, oh, I'm doing that. And I'm lucky because my wife does do more generally the cooking and cleaning than I do. You know, but you still have to contribute. You have to care. And it's not just that. You have to sit and you have to listen to your fucking wife bitch about everything all the time. But like you do. And it's okay. Like it's not a big deal. Like that's fine. Like you have to be emotionally available was what I'm saying. I'm being a little silly about it. You have to be more emotionally available. You can't just show up and then go home. You have to be there, and like it's work, and that's okay. It's like it is worth it to build a productive relationship.
Aren't anything like Fresh and Fit describe all women to be like. Also, if I had a dime for every time my wife had to block a creator after they got mad at me for making a video on them and tried to slide into her DMs, I'd have 2 dimes. So if all women were clout hungry modern women, she would have broken up with
Oh, you have a wife? Good. God bless, brother.
me a long time ago and never would have married me after that happened. But I guess by Fresh and Fit's logic,
But you're a high value male, dude. You're probably making fucking bank.
my wife is just a myth. Playback gives a male perspective on the internet's most trending videos. They will clown both males or females when they talk crazy in the clips they react to.
When nobody says,
Yeah, I've been working since I was about that age as
you have to
well.
understand that women bring life. Y'all don't. So I need a man to be like,
How y'all
oh,
get that life,
provide
man?
life, like-
what do you mean?
How you get that
We
life?
create.
What do you mean?
How do you get that life?
Go in the hospital and get a sperm donor. You don't need a man.
You still need a man.
You still need a man.
See, that's that mentality
That's
right
not
there.
that.
I don't need a man.
Listen,
You heard her.
listen,
You heard her. I don't need a man.
listen to what
Like,
I'm
You need
saying.
a man's
You need a
chromosome.
physical woman to bear a child for you.
And y'all need
Y'all need a
There we
physical
go, we need
sperm.
sperm.
Wait, does it come?
This I don't understand any. What's productive about this conversation? Some people don't need men or women. Like it's reality, and I would argue that women don't need men more than men don't need women, because women don't have as much of a sexual drive in the same way that men have it. I would say. So like I could see a woman being more like I don't need a man than I could see a man being like I don't need a woman because I still need to come. You know what I mean? So. And I could be wrong about that, but I don't see the productive. I'm gonna fucking lose. I don't see the productive nature of like having this conversation. Oh damn! I don't see the productive nature of it because like, where does it doesn't lead to anything. Who gives a shit? You know.
I'm from.
That's for right now. Give it to
From a
me.
man.
Oh my God! Whoa, why is she fighting this? Nigga, why is she fighting this?
Bro, where does the hospital get it from?
A man!
Why is she being this stubborn? What the fuck is going on?
That's crazy. She's arguing something that's like biologically true. Where do you get it from? No, I get it from a hospital. Where do I get it from?
I think what she's talking about is that she doesn't need a man in her life. Like, yes, she might need some sperm if she wants to have a kid, but she doesn't need a man in her life. Like I said, both men and women don't necessarily need the other one. I'd say men need women more, only because they gotta, put it in something. Unless you're gay. I think that's their point. Again, I don't see the constructive nature or productive nature of having the conversation. Like, who gives a shit? Like, it just seems stupid, but that's what they're talking about.
Oh,
It's just a unproductive conversation that breeds unproductive anything. That there's no point to it at all.
Why are you yelling about this? You're trying so hard to be right even though you're wrong.
Playback tries to see both perspectives of any argument they react to, but will call out any hypocrisy they hear. This is completely different from Fresh and Fit, who will spaz out every time a woman opens her mouth, whether her points are valid or not. And if a woman's
Myron hates women because he's a closeted homosexual that cuddles with men and won't just admit it. And like, he still has to sleep with men or women so that he can, like, you know what I mean? That's what he's supposed to do. That's his traditional roots, dude.
points are valid, she's immediately kicked off the podcast. The only women they let speak on their podcast are yes women who agree with everything they say and will disrespect women as well. Sneeko even tried to go back and forth with Agent and Low, accusing them of holding back with their opinions and hiding their true red pill feelings. But in response, Agent and Low were pretty much like, no, we're really not, but okay.
I think one of the parts of that conversation, because I think I watched it, was like, oh, you won't say everything that you feel on here. You lock it behind a paywall on Patreon. They're like, yeah, of course we do, because not everything that we say is like YouTube friendly. And that's just a smart way to go, which it is. That's what Daily Wire does. That's what a lot of people do. It's smart. If you have like opinions that are that, you know, intense that you feel like you can't say them on YouTube, why would you say them on YouTube? It's better to not say them on YouTube and like put them behind a paywall. There's nothing wrong with that. That's smart. They don't necessarily understand that. So
Fit have been in an endless list.
That's why Sneeko was banned and demonetized. So
some controversies, which isn't surprising because their entire platform is built on controversial opinions. They were permanently demonetized on YouTube in August of 2023, violating community guidelines by repeatedly submitting false copyright strikes to try to permanently terminate entire YouTube channels.
I'm pretty sure that's not what it was at all. I almost guaranteed you that the reason that they were demonetized was because of the whole thing that happened with like Abba and Preach, and like they were on another, they changed their profile picture to Abba and Preach next to like Donkey Kong monkeys. They were saying the N-word on other podcasts about Abba and Preach. They had like a white guy come on and dressed like a Nazi, or I think they dressed like a KKK member, and they did like a ton of racist shit, and YouTube was like, oh, we're gonna demonetize these people. I don't think it had, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it had anything to do with that.
For calling them out. They also repeatedly violated TOS with their misogynistic, anti-Semitic, and racist ideologies. From then on, Fresh and Fit was unable to make any money on YouTube, so they started streaming on Rumble. On top of their...
I think they were already streaming on Rumble at that point for a while there, and they were already trying to pull people to Rumble, but obviously they had to dial up the diarrhea dial on that one.
Controversial misogynistic views. Fresh and Fit have also been called out for inviting far-right political commentators onto their podcast, repeatedly sharing anti-Semitic behaviors and opinions.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with pulling people on with difference of opinion in general. But for somebody particularly egregious like this little goblin here, you have to be ready to counter all the anti-Semitic shit. So, like, I would never, but I like to watch Destiny do it, because he has... Because every time Destiny talks to Nick Fuentes has a fucking crybaby shit-fit meltdown, right? Because he's prepared to counter every little thing. So, like, that's the person that I would go to for that. It's funny. But they don't. What's going on here is that they're hateful in general. Like, Fresh and Fit are just hateful. Like, they're looking for a hateful audience. And they see that they can profit off of this audience, so they lean into it. And they play the victim complex. Like, a lot of it's like, oh, Jews control the world, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, they don't. I mean, just how come there has been a single Jewish president in America? But anyway, it doesn't matter. Very basic question. It's a hateful audience. They pulls people in. They can make money, even though they're racist. They're like, oh, these are some of the good black people. Like, that's how Nick Fuentes' audience interacts with them, and that's how, you know, the audience crossover goes. That's how it goes. Thank you so much for the $5 for the Savage Muffins. Hey Papa, taking a break from the new Final Fantasy 14 expansion. Should I play League or Baldur's Gate while I listen? I don't know, man. League, if you don't rage out, play League. But if I rage out, I can't play League anymore. So, you know, maybe play Baldur's Gate.
And for giving anti-Semitic commentators a platform on their show. On the other hand, Playback has never really been in any huge controversy. The only scandal they've been in was when Lowe's ex-girlfriend exposed him on Twitter for cheating on her. Now, I obviously don't agree with cheating, and it's a terrible thing to do, but if they're...
Yeah, it's not good. I don't care. I'm not trying to be... I'm not trying to be like an asshole. It's like, don't do that, guys. It's bad. But like, you know, for me, I'm just like, there's so much pearl clutching going on the internet. I'm just like so uninterested in like that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not gonna sit here. I'll be like, yeah, that's not good. Don't do that. Okay, we're good. Like, Whatever.
There are any Fresh and Fit fans in the comments that think this makes Low anywhere near as controversial as Fresh and Fit, you can type your comments here. But let's see how this whole
Very
beef
jarring
between
sound.
Playback and Fresh and Fit even started in the first place. In 2020, Playback uploaded a video calling out Walter and Fresh and Fit for lying about attending an NBA party as a way to advertise his online course. This Playback video has since been removed by Fresh and Fit themselves after they
Interesting.
submitted a false copyright strike against Playback's channel. If you're not familiar with
That Streisand effect, because I think people started to interact with them like more aggressively because of all that going on.
YouTube's terms and conditions, if you receive 3 copyright strikes, there's a huge chance that your channel will be permanently terminated and wiped from the
Based.
platform. After Playback's video went live, Fresh and Fit uploaded an hour-long stream violating and making fun of Agent and Low in a now deleted YouTube video. Low was able to download this video before Fresh and Fit deleted it. Fresh and Fit
They deleted it. They had a meltdown and then they went and deleted it. Wow, that's some coward shit.
deleted this video of them bullying Playback in fear that Playback would see the video after receiving the false copyright strike and retaliate. Just
Maybe. I mean, if it's a public thing, they probably expected them to see it. They probably just didn't want it to stay up because they thought it would ban their channel because they said like some really crazy shit. Or maybe it was because they hoped they didn't see it, but I don't know.
Just like Playback reacted to Fresh and Fit, Myron and Walter reacted to Playback's content in the video, making fun of them. By deleting the video, Playback had nothing to copyright claim on Fresh and Fit's channel. It's also pretty hilarious because when Fresh and Fit made their hour-long video about Playback, they didn't know that Agent and Low had other YouTube channels besides Playback that were all way bigger than Fresh and Fit. So they thought that they were punching down on smaller creators and calling them a couple of nobodies, when in reality, Agent and Low were actually way more famous and successful than they were.
Damn. That's funny.
They eventually realized their mistake and waited until they surpassed Playback in subscribers. Then they went back to Playback's video about them and left this comment saying, "You two made a big mistake. Triple Chin Lard Boy and the guy that hasn't been in a barbershop for 2.5 years are going to get cooked on our podcast. YouTube done goof. 290k subs in 9 months. Hold this L once again." Keep in mind, Agent and Low still had more subscribers than them on their other channels at this point and still do today.
funny.
On December 8th, 2021, Playback uploaded a video called Fresh and Fit tried to delete our channel. In this video, Agent and Low explained how Fresh and Fit copyright striked their channel and got 3 videos about Fresh and Fit permanently removed. They talk about how wrong it is for Fresh and Fit to take advantage of YouTube's flawed copyright system, which allows people to robotically detect and manually claim any video that uses their content, regardless of if it's protected under fair use or not. The only way to remove these claims is by manually disputing them. But as soon as
Yeah, and then when you do that, it also gives them all your personal information because you have to put in like your address, your name, etc., etc. So it's annoying.
a video is robotically claimed, it is immediately suppressed in the YouTube algorithm. Even if the claim is removed, the video views usually remain pretty low.
I've never experienced that ever. I've never experienced a reduction in views. I've never experienced a reduction in views for videos that were copyright claimed. I've never experienced a reduction in views for videos that are demonetized either. I've never had that issue. Some of my biggest videos are demonetized videos. It's the funny part about it. So maybe that's true, but in my experience, it isn't. I've never experienced that. Because, like, I don't think YouTube cares. Because they can still run ads on the video. It would just, the money goes to somebody else. Right? Like, YouTube still gets their cut, though. So I don't think that I think it's a cope. I don't think that they actually suppress copyrighted videos. But I could be wrong.
Agent says that in his entire decade on YouTube, he's never gone through anything like this. He talks about how Pretty Boy Fredo and Keemstar have started controversy with him in the past, but they came to a resolution and never tried to strike his channel like Fresh and Fit did. He also says that he would never strike a channel for reacting to any of his content because it's under fair use. He says he could easily strike Fresh and Fit back, but he'd never stoop down to their level just for the sake of content.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Low says this is
I do remember when ABBA and Preach struck Pearl's video reacting to them once because it's just so funny. I think mostly because she just like barely did any commentary, so they they struck it, and it's just like funny. It was just a funny moment, but they've never struck any of my stuff, so thank you. It's called reverse reparations, guys. Okay.
This is exactly why YouTube shouldn't have removed the dislike button, because now people like Fresh and Fit can control the narrative around them and silence any opposition with copyright strikes and hidden dislikes.
I don't think that I see people complain about the dislike. I don't think that the dislikes have done anything, to be honest with you, just to be real. Like, I don't think that dislikes have done anything negative to the platform, and you could just disagree. But like, people are like, well, yeah, but then you don't know if a video's good or bad. It's like, you can still know if the video's good or bad. But you also, it's less effective to mass rate another channel and mass dislike it just because somebody disagrees, even if it's not necessarily wrong. you know. And I don't think that Fresh and Fit have gotten away with any narrative shifting at all. They've been getting dumpstered. So I don't think that I personally just I get why they did it. To me, for YouTube, it reduces some of the negative interactions on YouTube's atmosphere. That's why they've done it. I think it's a smart play to make personally, to dial down some of the fucking, you know, some of the hate, potential hate that could happen on the platform. But I could be wrong. I don't think it really matters though.
Fresh and Fit trying to get us out of here, my boys. This is also a warning to other channels out there as well. If y'all run into any complications, please be on the lookout, because it seems like they are trying to silence a lot of people and make sure all your channels, your videos are removed about them.
I found a video of Fresh lying about some NBA party he'd been to and how an NBA player helped get him some pussy. And he breaks from that story, that fake story, to tell us to buy his course. I thought it was hilarious. We both obviously knew it was fake. They left our radar.
They did a response to us, an hour-long response. So all of that, those lies that they were spewing about how, oh, we just got caught up on the moment. It was just, we let the fame get to our head. It was just acting as if like it was a one-time occurrence. No, back when they had 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers, they were acting the exact same way. So they did the exact same thing to us months ago. And the only reason why y'all finally took it down is because once y'all copyright strike us, y'all was like, they might retaliate, so we're going to go ahead and just remove that video from YouTube right now.
It has come to the internet's attention that these guys aren't who they say they are. They're promoting this lifestyle and this philosophy on relationships, women, and finances, but it turns out they're not even following what they're saying they believe in. So to be
Also, why would you want to take advice about women from them? Like, what does that help? I don't understand. I don't really understand. They're not married. They've never been in a productive relationship. I guess their whole thing is like, I can teach you how to get pussy, but they don't know how to get any pussy. They have no game. They have money. The only thing that they have is money. That's pretty much it. So, like, yeah, it's easy to get women if you have money. What a hot take.
able to sell courses and not even truly practice those things is crazy. So the evidence is out on the internet, and we love to laugh at hypocrisy here on this channel, and it happens in all forms from all types of people. Fresh and Fit just happens to be one of them. You copyright striking 3 of our videos means that our channel could have gotten permanently terminated. For your reporting of our fair use reaction to your hypocrisy, you were willing to terminate our channel. You're the exact type of people we like to laugh at and make a point of.
I want to interact with this crybaby on stream really quick. So this person is desperate for my attention because the latest thing they say is, watch Papa ignore my comment because of cognitive dissonance. I didn't see your comment. That was apparently over here until I went into channel activity. I have no idea where you even said it. First time on stream. It's not even like here. But the fact that you have a victim complex and think I'd actively ignore you or what you said is stupid to me. It's like you're just an idiot. It's not because of what your criticism is. It's because you're just like a crybaby about it. Pop, I noticed cognitive dissonance. So we're already sitting there with our superfood buzzwords. On your take, you love Shapiro because of family values. Yet someone cheats and violates family values. It's not a big deal to you. You know. So I like Ben Shapiro, and I can appreciate his intelligence, and I do appreciate it because he's a family man. But I'm not going to have a fucking meltdown because somebody cheats. I'm obviously going to be like, oh, that's not a good behavior. But I'm not going to like shit and cum all over my pants because of that. I don't know what's going on in that relationship. I don't know the specifics. I don't know if like, you know, one of them, somebody cheated because of whatever. I don't know. I don't necessarily care. I don't think cheating is a good behavior, but I'm not like a fucking pearl clutching, melting down, coming, shitting, farting, and crying over it. So it's not cognitive dissonance. It's just the way I interact with different types of information. That's it. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I don't know why you're so desperate for my attention for that. You're engaging in cognitive dissonance. What are you, like 14? You just learned the word? Like, dude. I like people that are family-oriented. I don't think that cheating is particularly good. But also, like, it's a very big gray area. Because, like, what if the cheating, you're in a relationship for, like, fucking 30 years and you cheat once, you have a moment of weakness? I don't know. Whether it's a man or a woman. I don't know. There's a lot of context there. Like, it's not the same thing. I don't know. I don't... Like, it's these two things. I don't have to think that cheating is a literal, like murder to also appreciate somebody who respects their family. Like, I could be like, oh, that's a bad behavior. Like, but it's not. It's not that deep. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. And like, I would recommend that you express yourself better because you can express the criticism. Hey, I feel like these two are incongruent perspectives. But the desperate watch Pop ignore my comment because nobody knows who you are. You know, you're not a regular in the stream. You talk once in a while, and that's cool. But like, don't fucking. You're acting like you're acting ahead of yourself. Relax, okay? I'm gonna pull a nose hair out. Oh, So if you don't want me to be an asshole next time, just express it better. All right.
Because hopefully our audience never grows to become anything like you.
Bro, I
People sit
just
there and laugh
pulled
because
those hairs
it's a
out
disaster
of
of a
my
show they're
fucking
watching.
nose.
Every conversation is toxic and doesn't help propel anything forward but your own pockets. And the reality is the shit that you sell, you can't stand behind it. And if I was with you, if I was on the same part as you, the retaliation would be tough for you.
Trying to get money from desperate men who don't have sense or direction in their life. So
True. Or a father. That's what it is. These men don't have fathers.
what you're trying to
And they don't respect their mothers.
do is prop yourself up on this pedestal, and as soon as people pull the fucking rug right underneath you all, because it's nothing but bullshit, as soon as people do that, now you're threatening termination of the entire channel. Hey, it's not my fault that you live a lie like that. I know y'all are insecure. It's crazy how y'all keep saying everybody, you're alpha, big alpha. But it's niggas like you all who always try to silence
Don't say that word, dude, or else it goes in my head.
somebody and try to move things around, and we know y'all niggas are emotional because we saw how y'all react. In the original stream, y'all reacted to our reaction. So what? So now we can hit you with a strike because y'all reacted to us reacting, being petty and emotional.
comment?
Yeah, they left a comment. Bso's got it. Bso's got a screenshot. Hey guys, don't worry. We got all that bullshit.
What'd
that
they
y'all
say?
left. They left it like, oh, we finally beat y'all. We finally caught up to y'all. We passed y'all subscribers.
So interesting, because I understand that like an increased sub count it definitely could be a factor in your popularity, but subs doesn't necessarily mean everything. Like that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a productive platform. Like there's people that probably have twice my subs that make less money or have less engagement than I do because, you know, for whatever reason, the type of content they make, you know, whatever it is specifically. So it's like kind of a weird flex, especially since like these two guys have whatever subs that they have. Their entire production seems to be reacting to a video, and then one of them might be an editor or they might have an editor. Whereas Fresh and Fit have a massive, like, what do they have, like 10 people on payroll? So you have all these people on payroll, and it's like, okay, maybe you have more subscribers and you're making more money, but then like you also have more overhead. So really you're not as successful because you have employees that you have to pay and you have to do X, Y, and Z, but they're able to manage like a lower scale production where if they do not as well at a period, they don't have to freak out because they have very low, you know, again, overhead. They have very low bills, you know what I mean? So yeah, like for me, like I have everything is basically in-house. I'm pretty solid. It makes it a little bit easier to manage. If I have a low period, I don't have to cut staff, you know?
Y'all niggas emotional. Y'all children, bro. Those are two grown-ass children over there. I'm telling y'all, bro. And at some point, you're going to have to face reality. Walter's going to have to stop buying Instagram followers. He's going to have to stop going to sugar baby sites and believing that he's in a real relationship because he brought someone on a yacht. Think about that. Think about how nuts that is. Which is nuts, right?
Low then exposes proof that Walter gave a woman half of all the money from Fresh and Fit super chats, was frequently sending her money on Venmo, and paying her bills. This completely
Damn, that's some simp behavior, brother.
contradicts Walter's red pill online persona. Walter tried to defend himself by saying this entire relationship with this woman was for a troll. But that absolutely makes no sense because no one knew about the extent of the relationship and he gave her real money.
Oh, the same guy that got up from before messaged me again. How do I express that? It's weird that you jokingly wish death upon Boogie. I never wished death upon him ever. What I said is that it's not meaningful to me at all. I think he's just a worthless person, and he has a pathetic life. He has the ability to change and work, not even hard, and he just refuses to do so, and rather just destroy his credibility. I think he's pathetic. I think he's a loser. I think he's weak. Anyway, continuing. Something you don't wish upon people like Tate or Fresh and Fit. I can't say what I would say about Tate, a sex trafficking rapist, but I don't think I have to say it for you to know how I feel about that person. I can't wish death on anybody because I imagine it's against YouTube's terms of service. But whatever I think about Boogie, I think more about Tate, if that makes you feel any better. I don't know why you got the insinuation from. I don't know where Fresh and Fit come in because I don't know if they're sex trafficking rapists, although they are rape apologists, telling women that if they were raped, that it's their fault for who they chose. But okay. Anyway, they all might deserve it, but you don't wish death equally. I don't wish death on anybody, brother. I would never waste my karma on other people. So you're just kind of making things up. Okay. You have saying you would want to donate money to cancer? Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool stuff, man. I appreciate that I made a joke. Cool. All right. You're just upset now, I think. You're just saying anything to argue with me.
Walter being exposed for giving women money and calling it all a joke really hasn't
base. You know, they could just say, like, I like to give women money. It makes me feel powerful to pay for shit. I get that. That's why I spend so much money on my wife. It makes me feel like a man to spend money on shit.
In the past 2 years, he has been exposed for things like this over and over again. Recently in 2024, Walter just got exposed for allegedly getting a woman pregnant, which completely goes against his alpha male ideology.
Well, that just getting the woman pregnant isn't necessarily the issue. It's like the whole. It's the biggest funny part about it is that he told this girl he loved her and had her meet his family, and then was pretending that he wasn't actually dating her. So, you know.
This pregnancy is what Myron was raging about at the beginning of the video. Myron says that he'll stand with Fresh until death, no matter what he's exposed for. Getting called out for hypocrisy yet again is what had Myron so triggered. Low also talks about how Fresh and Fit doesn't just silence other creators, they even silence their own fans. If fans question Fresh and Fit's ideologies on their official subreddit, their comments would get deleted.
Damn, fucked up, dude.
And then accounts would be banned. Fans had to then create a separate subreddit where they could speak freely. But if Fresh and Fit noticed anyone was a part of both subreddits, they would immediately ban them. Low goes on to expose proof of Walter buying tens of thousands of Instagram followers. This exposes Myron and Walter's hypocrisy when they say women do everything for attention.
How do you even buy Instagram followers? And what's even the point to buying Instagram followers? Like, is that even helpful? Because I feel like just because you buy a follower doesn't mean that you get engagement from that person, does it? Like, that sounds stupid. Thank you for the $2 from Jonathan F. Pregant. What? Did I say pregnant weird?
And men don't. Myron and Walter accused Playback of having no respect for their audience. But if Walter lied about a relationship for views, wouldn't he have no respect for his audience either? Instead of cowering to Fresh and Fit's fair tactics, Playback doubled and tripled down with more and more videos clowning Myron and Walter to show that they cannot be silenced and weren't scared of them at all. They also encouraged other channels to refuse to be silenced as well, but told them to just be cautious, seeing that Fresh and Fit was trying to terminate entire channels. On December 10th, 2021, Playback uploaded another video called Fresh and Fit, Your Plan Backfired. In this video, they come to the defense of Abba and Preach, another YouTube duo similar to Playback.
Probably, okay.
They talk about how Abba and Preach got hit with 20 copyright strikes from Fresh and Fit, and this happened to a ton of other channels as well.
Yeah, that's so fucking funny. That dude, like, what a terrible way to deal with criticism. Because you know for a fact that, like, people, even their own audience, will look at that and be like, oh, this is kind of cringe. Like, this is some loser shit. It's just the Streisand effect. Like, all you're doing is you're just putting more eyes onto you because you're having a fucking insecure baby moment.
Before this entire copyright strike situation, Fresh and Fit had a stream bullying and violating Abba and Preach and making comments about Preach's significant other. Fresh and Fit then made a video apologizing to Abba and Preach. But after Abba and Preach reacted to this apology video, they were hit with 20 copyright claims from Fresh and Fit. These claims were obviously false because Fresh and Fit's lawyer claimed that 50 minutes of content was stolen per video, but Abba and Preach's videos were no longer than 15 minutes. Their lawyer also
That's funny.
said,
yeah, they don't even do full reactions. I mean, that's a gray area where you can claim it probably. But what do you thank you for $2 again, Jonathan F. You keep saying pregnant. What's the joke, dude? I don't get it. What's the joke here? I don't understand. So going over my head.
Content was stolen at timestamps 16 minutes to 15 minutes. Unless Abba and Preach were time travelers, this made absolutely no sense.
Thank you so much for the $5 from Jackass Zito. Papa, I'm 10 toes down to hop on Discord and chat with you about my marvelous misadventure sometime in the future. Chat will love it, and I'll get views. Okay. Yeah, when I do another fan thing, we'll definitely do that, okay?
YouTube contacted Abba and Preach to let them know that their content was protected under fair use and wouldn't...
Hopefully you have some crazy shit going on, brother. Or hopefully you don't, because you seem to have a very crazy life. Thank you for the $5 from Darky Sharky. Papa, you look like you gooned to Radiohead all day while calling yourself a pretty princess while watching Logan Paul vlog. Wow, that's definitely my, you got me on that one. That's my, what do they call it? My hidden secret or whatever, my guilty pleasure.
Be deleted. YouTube also contacted Fresh and Fit to let them know that if they kept submitting false copyright strikes and claims, their channel would be punished. In the video, Agent and Low also talk about how Fresh and Fit are complete hypocrites because they react to other people's content on their own channel and podcasts all of the time, including RDC World, Mr. Beast, and many other big creators. They also react
Mr. Beast is a real one, baby.
to Fresh and Fit, saying that everyone is just jealous of their success and how they help young men. Agent and Low say that they would never want to be like them, and all of their videos about male self-improvement have way less views than the videos of them throwing women off of the set. So they are only lying to themselves if they think people actually watch them for
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nobody watches them for fucking self-improvement. Nobody's getting self-improved by any of this.
advice and not to see OnlyFans models clowned on.
Think about it, I've never been on a yacht.
Not just clowned on, but also they want to see OnlyFans girls so that they can like, oh, I want to jerk off to this. You know?
I'm jealous, dog.
I'm jealous that you took a girl on the yacht and paid her electric bill. I'm jealous, nigga. You're right, bro. I'm jealous of you, nigga.
That was me, man.
Man, I wish, bro.
Can you imagine someone criticizing me? I was like, you're just so fucking jealous. You're not agent.
And then you admit that you were wrong, and you're still saying, I think it's jealous. That's all it is.
Go on their channel, and they react to other people's content all the time without
Thank you for another $2, Jonathan, and saying Gregnant. Jesus Christ.
asking them for permission before.
Oh, and that's my guy!
That's your guy,
That's
right?
my guy, Mark, right there! Oh my god, so if we just throw out copyright claims just like that, let me make a call real quick.
Facts, nigga, right? Because you definitely didn't get his approval for that. clip for it. This is no Squid Games.
You reacted to a Netflix show?
They reacted to Squid Games. Are you fucking dumb, bro?
YouTube sees this and they reply, "Hi, lawyer. We are concerned that some of the information in your takedown request may be fraudulent. Please understand that YouTube receives a large number of fraudulent copyright takedown requests, and we take that abuse of that process very seriously." And then they cite a court case where they fuck somebody up for doing it. Then they say, "We remind you to take this seriously and make sure you get it done. If we don't receive a detailed explanation from you within 7 days, your YouTube account may be terminated."
But it somehow gets worse.
That's fucking funny.
Let's see if they
I wasn't super in tune of like what was going on here. I remember they got called out by Tim Pool though. That was funny.
The lawyer says, "Each of the videos in question either uses a significant section of our client's content, fresh and fit, pulled directly from their videos on YouTube channel, or if it lifted their entire videos from their YouTube channel. Furthermore, we believe that these videos in question are all being used for commercial purposes without alteration, which necessarily defeats any fair use exceptions to copyright infringement." Hey, the lawyer's getting paid.
Hey, y'all niggas got scammed, nigga. That's fucking crazy. Dumbass Marvin, like.
Well, yeah, you know the lawyers just getting the direction of like, yeah, advocate for this as much as possible. Like, just take the fucking L, bro.
We done it, sir. We done it. We lawyering up. Hey, Fresh got fucking finessed by a fucking woman, like literally like 2 weeks ago. Here's Myron dumbass getting finessed by the goddamn lawyers. Hey, y'all dumbasses hire somebody as an attorney that's literally about to get your fucking channel terminated. Y'all are the dumbest niggas I have ever fucking seen.
Respect freedom of speech. You should be this motivated to censor people, especially people that have the same job as you. You are a content creator. But why are you so anxious to censor?
We know why.
We know why.
No, but like it's not a copyright issue. We all know it's not really a copyright issue. It's a censorship issue. And so y'all censoring us, y'all censoring other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it makes sense. So you know what's interesting? Like lately on, I guess on TikTok, I'm starting to really gain traction. Because now what happens is I keep getting tagged in tons of videos, and some of them are getting like a lot of views. Like one of them got I think like 1 million views of people taking my viral TikToks and then cutting them into minute sections and then putting like some bullshit next to it, like Subway servers or whatever, and then posting it up as their own content to get monetized, because TikTok still hasn't figured out how to like deal with the people like getting fraudulent monetization, and like you know how they would deal with it. Give creators, like verified creators, the ability to report stuff they see on their For You page. But anyway, that doesn't matter. It's just so funny. For me, I'm like, I don't even necessarily care. The only thing I care about is that they get money for doing it, because that money takes away from like the creator pool for the rest of us. But also, I don't really care necessarily that people do it, because like if you saw my video of me doing that on the For You page, you wouldn't have watched that one unless you really liked it. And then if you hadn't seen my video, you'll watch that, and now like that could potentially differ. That's probably a different audience that gets to interact and see like, oh, who is this, and then potentially follow me through that. So it's still exposure. Yeah, I got to look at it from that perspective.
Creators, y'all are censoring people in your own subreddit, and then y'all also censoring people in your own chat. Y'all are just trying to remove any evidence, and y'all censoring yourself to actually remove videos that had video evidence of it. So y'all are literally trying to just get rid of everything that proves that you all are not who y'all say y'all are.
On January 8th, 2022, Playback uploaded a video reacting to Fresh and Fit talking about how they don't date black women and spreading blatant racist generalizations. This is
yeah, well, I mean, like, listen, there's disrespect to women in every community, but I've had a lot of black women talk to me about how like there seems to be, you know, something very disrespectful in the black community of when it comes to disrespecting black women. I don't exactly understand it or know exactly what it is. You know, I'm not sitting here making a prescription. I'm just telling you what I've heard. So very interesting. You know what I mean? I would imagine in general, very religious, lower income communities, you know, would be more aggressive in their values when it comes to women, you know, LGBTQ people, general education. You know, which is a whole conversation about systemic racism, et cetera, blah, 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 blah. We're not going to get into it. But if I had to theorize, that would potentially be what it is, if it is true.
Another example of Fresh and Fit's hypocrisy, because Myron and Walter's main argument about women is that women are so terrible because they only want to date men who have a certain amount of money and won't look outside of that preference. So,
yeah, it's not necessarily true. Here's the thing. And I saw an interesting video on my For You page that, like, and I was like, oh, this is a really good point. Women don't necessarily care about money. They do. Just hear me out. What they care about is the potential to make money. Okay? So if there's a guy, if they look at a guy and they're like, this guy doesn't do really well, but he works a full-time job and he's working his ass off and like he's willing to provide, and they're a lot more likely to be like, oh, I don't necessarily care about money because this guy will do whatever he needs to do to provide. Right? And different women are going to look for different things. And like, you know, obviously some women aren't going to be able to find like a, you know, a really tall guy that makes a lot of money. Blah, blah, blah. So your preferences will change based on like your environment and what you can get, and you know what I mean, and like what's really good in that environment. You know what I mean? But that's what women like more, is the potential to do really well. So like be motivated. Being motivated is something that could really, you know, obviously help you get a mate. It can help you mate. You know, because you're showing your partner potential that you will work hard and do X, Y, Z. So,
add preferences to the long list of double standards in Fresh and Fit's gender ideology. Having preferences is fine, but you don't have to take it this far and insult an entire group of people to make your point. And that goes for men and women. Agent talks about how women don't have to generalize all men based on wealth, and men don't have to generalize all women based on race. Myron and Walter say that they, quote, don't dabble in the black, aren't down with the brown, aren't night riders, and don't date Shaniquas or LaQuishas.
See, it's okay to like have a preference where you may not necessarily want to date black women or white women or Asian women or whatever, but they're not having a preference to like respectfully have a preference. They're trying to be disrespectful, and that's the problem. If you're just like, yeah, you know what, I prefer white women, or you know, I'm not a big fan of like this particular race of women, there's nothing wrong with that. It's how you interact with it. Like, why? First of all, why are you bringing it up? Right? There's probably never a reason that you need to tell people that explicitly. Like, yeah, I don't like that. But that's number one. Number two is like, how is it that you're saying it when you do bring it up? And like, they're trying to be disrespectful. They're trying to be like they're just being like anti-black woman. You know, maybe it's racist or I don't know if what exactly would it be since they're black, but that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to be disrespectful as fuck.
Agent and Lowe talk about how Fresh and Fit only surround themselves with stereotypically obnoxious women, and it has nothing to do with their race. Fresh and Fit continuously choose to only talk to women from the Miami Strip and sugar baby websites, and then complain about women not being classy or respectable, which is completely counterintuitive. Fresh and Fit is the best case of cognitive dissonance.
Well, because like classy, intuitive women don't want to interact with Fresh and Fit. Like, why would it? Only dumb women interact with Fresh and Fit. Why would classy, intuitive women aren't dumb? That's pretty much it. Why would they interact with them, you know?
Ever seen. Basically, it makes no sense to keep debating about how terrible modern women are when the women you're basing this opinion off of are the same OnlyFans models, porn stars, strippers, and sugar babies they constantly surround themselves with. If you aren't chronically online, actually leave your house, and get off of Tinder and sugarbaby.com, there's plenty of respectable women out there for you today. Playback also talks about how Fresh and Fit claim to be a male self-improvement podcast, but all their videos that actually talk about male self-improvement have way less views than their videos spazzing on the women sitting with them or throwing them out of the studio.
And there's probably two reasons for that. Reason number one is because their audience doesn't care about that. They like the hatefulness. They only follow them for the hate. Number two, their self-improvement advice is probably dog shit. They have no legitimate life experience that could help you with self-improvement. Like, one of the self-improvement things that these red pillars do in general is go to the gym. That's great advice. Anybody could say that, though. What do I do when I get there? And you might think that's stupid, but is it stupid? There are tons of people, even people who are motivated to go to the gym, that don't know what to do when they get there. That's an entire thing in and of itself. I think the gym is great. You should figure out something to work on your body, whether it's getting stronger, more muscular, some kind of something. You know, maybe you play a sport, maybe you like to run, maybe you like to, there's a million different things that you can do. Maybe you like to go camping or hiking or something, whatever. But when you say go to the gym, it's like, well, what do you do when you get there? That's tough. That's a difficult thing. Like, you know, that's where you want to look into actual fitness content creators, like your Dr. Mike Israetels, your Alan Thralls, you know, these type of people. You want to buy like legitimate books, like your Wendler 5. I know I talk about it all the time, but Wendler 531, Starting Strength by Mark Ripto. You know, that's what you need to do if you want to get into like weight training in a serious way and be safe about it, which is worth all the effort. It takes a lot of effort. So they don't give any advice on that shit. You know, I don't know if they give routine advice, but like the only routine I've seen from like Andrew Tate is like, here's some things to do. It's like fucking using like a 30-pound barbell, fucking doing calisthenics. It was just stupid. It's not real. He's like, this is how I stay this big. And he's like, no, it's not. I could tell that you're doing other things. Everybody knows it. So like, where's that advice? We're not seeing that. You know what I mean? It's very doubtful that we're seeing legitimate advice like that.
But to sit here and to cast like horrible characteristic traits to an entire race
annoying.
Of people, it is.
But what else they say?
Annoying, loud, ghetto. To sit there and to cast those type of characteristic traits amongst a race of people, when the way that you all meet women.
Thank you so much for the $5 from Jado Dog. I listened to them, went to the gym, and sat in the sauna for a couple hours. When do I get the girls? I don't know, dude. You got to dress up like a girl and go into the girl sauna, and then you'll get some girls.
Are in ways in which those type of characteristic traits will be more common, because you all don't meet high class women on Miami strips, because those type of women are always trying to seek validation. They're trying to seek eyes. They're trying to. There's just those
trying to make money, dude.
Those are not the standard
based on their body, not on their accomplishments.
Women. They're just not. Those are not. They sit here and to say like, hey, all the women that I meet in the strip club, oh, those are the.
They're so annoying and ratchet.
And why are they always shaking their ass?
Oh
like,
my
I just
God.
don't get it. And in both places, they produce women who probably aren't of the highest ilk in many regards. Doesn't make any sense to then say, hey, all women who fit under this race now are based off of the limited experiences I had. It doesn't make any sense.
Sometimes if they're, red bone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's so odd to see black people say that.
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is about that. Somebody that just threw me off.
Yeah, like this nigga Fresh legitimately looks like Uncle Ruckus right now. Like that, like you're Uncle Ruckus, nigga. Y'all Uncle Tom ass niggas. Y'all don't understand how y'all niggas are. Stop it, dude. I'm gonna say it on accident. People of color, and y'all sitting here saying that about black women.
We get on this channel and we're like, bro, you're looking in the wrong places. Yeah, they be looking in the
yes,
you're looking
all
on
the
sugar
time.
baby websites and Miami strip clubs and fucking lounges. Where what do you think you're gonna find the same type of person regardless of their race?
Well, yeah, they're the people who put like they put a stick in their fucking wheel on their bicycle and they fall and they blame someone else for it. Like you're interacting with shit women and then you're complaining that all women are shit. Interact with better women, but they're not good enough for like an actual decent woman. They can only find a woman who is so money hungry that they're willing to be routinely disrespected by fucking losers that are bad in bed. That's the reality. Like that's what they're looking for, because they have no actual skills. Like Fresh and Fit without money are failures. They have no skills. Without money, they can't find women. They have no personality. They can't be in a relationship. They're incapable of it because they're incapable of respect, except for other men because they're gay. And it's okay. Gay men respect women, but they hate women, right? So, and then they force themselves to date them, which builds a resentment up. You know what I mean? So that's why it's relevant.
Telling this lady here that she's not like other black women is not a fucking compliment to her.
So the idea that you all then can just cast this ridiculous shadow of unwarranted characteristics amongst an entire race of women is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense because they have white women on their show who do ghetto ratchet shit.
Yeah. It's obvious that they don't like love or respect their own mothers if they actually talk like this. Unless it's all a grift that they don't believe any of it. Because there's no way that somebody that actually loved their mother would talk about how like their mother is shit. Because I'm assuming they have black moms. So you're sitting here like talking shit about black. It's okay to have the preference, like I said, but they're disrespectful about it. Like if you actually loved your mother, you wouldn't talk about women like that. Like like that's just the reality of the situation.
All the time. The level of self-hate is outrageous right now. Nigga, it's crazy.
Like you don't have to shit on.
Thank you so much for $5 from Amy. Hey Papa, Cold Raven's Nest just released an interview with a young girl who was blackmailed into an internet cult and forced to do horrible things. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe I'll take a look at that later. It's pretty fucked up.
Somebody to just talk about who you prefer, dog. It's not necessary.
Also calling them, I don't dabble in the brown or Night Riders and stuff like that.
Yeah, bro. I can say I'm into light-skinned women, and I can say
but
that
just
without
leave
being
it
like,
at that.
you don't have to say like, because dark-skinned women, you know how they get. They're super aggressive. Like you stop casting your projections on entire groups of people.
Yeah, you
bro.
want to be
Just
respectful.
Say that is crazy, especially the way that y'all meet women.
Yeah, bro.
You were just getting finessed by a white woman like two months ago.
And
nigga.
you didn't. For some reason.
On May 22nd, 2022, Playback uploaded Fresh and Fit explain why men can cheat but women can't. In the video they are reacting to, Fresh and Fit repeatedly tried to disrespect a female radio host on her own show and try to get her in a gotcha moment over and over again. Fresh and Fit start off by saying that if a woman posts inappropriate pictures online while in a committed relationship, she's cheating on her significant other.
Graphic
which is
photos did he have
honestly understandable. I mean, it's not cheating, but it would probably make.
I mean, it depends on the relationship. If they're posting those photos for money, or that's like their job, like that's within the boundaries of the relationship. I don't know if I would want to date somebody that does this. I don't know what this is. I'll have to look at it later. I wouldn't necessarily want to date somebody that does that. But if like it's not cheating, really is like if you invalidate the boundaries of a relationship. So
make the majority of men uncomfortable, but it goes both ways. I'm pretty sure if I started posting thirst traps on my community tab, my wife wouldn't be too happy about it. I saw someone say that 80% of what Fresh and Fit say is valid, but people focus on the 20% to hate on them. First,
no, they don't say anything that any. Again, like what they'll say: go to the gym, make money. Cool, thanks, man. That's awesome. that's like 1% of what they say. They happen to say that, but it's not the core of their content, and what they make their money on is trying to embarrass OnlyFans women.
First off, I think it's a lot,
and then make all women seem like that.
A lot more like 2% of their arguments are valid. Also, I saw another person say that it only takes a tiny drop of rat poisoning in fresh water to be deadly. So Fresh and Fit doesn't get a pass for making a couple of valid arguments.
And cinnamony. It tastes like cinnamon. Okay, keep that in mind, guys. All right, so at least it makes it taste good.
Once in a blue moon. On the radio.
Because why else would rats eat that poison?
show, it only takes a few seconds for Fresh and Fit to completely abandon talking about the topic at hand, which is what's acceptable to post on social media while in a relationship, and move on to doing what they actually are famous for, which is trying to dunk on women. Myron goes on to keep cutting off the host to talk about how all men want quantity, aka as many women as possible, and all women want quality, aka the one best man possible. Lone Agent talk about how dumb it is that Myron constantly
most women don't want a guy in a relationship, so
generalizes all men and all women to fit his narrative and sell.
They have this weird idea that like women will be with one guy because he's so good, and it's like women might want to be with a guy, but they don't want to be. Women don't really want to share, or they're not really okay with sharing, or else men would be getting more pussy.
Discourse. Myron also gets extremely passionate and emotional talking about how no man wants a woman who posts on social media. But again, if you actually believe this, why is he constantly surrounding himself with IG models, OF models, strippers, and sugar babies? The exact type of women he claims to hate. This is exactly why people now call them fresh and fraud and stretched and shit. Lowe also talks about how if Myron...
I just call it Walter and his husband. Walter and Walter's wife. That's pretty much what it is. I think that Myron is the sassy, outspoken woman in the relationship, and Walter is, he's kind of like the cuck in the corner. Like he's sitting there, he needs his wife to kind of talk for him, Sometimes I let my wife do the talking for me. It's nice, I can appreciate it, but he doesn't really seem like the kind of guy with a spine that can actually defend his wife when she's getting insulted. He kind of just sits there and like, kind of just does that. That's just kind of him as a person, so... That's what I call Walter and wife. Incredible stuff.
Doesn't think it's right for women to have quote unquote high mileage, then why did he say in a previous video that he requires the women he dates to have sex with him on the first or second date? They also talk about how Myron says women do everything for attention and men don't. But
okay, their whole thing is screaming for attention. That's very funny.
If this was the case, why was Walter, his own co-host, constantly buying chains, yachts, and flexing on Instagram to his paid followers?
True.
Myron also says that since men usually make more money,
because that's really good money advice, is like, hey, good money advice, don't spend your money on dumb shit you don't need. Live below your means. That would mean not having status symbols, because like, why do you need it? Don't go around bragging. People don't need to know how much money you make, etc., etc.
In a relationship, the woman should go along with any of his requirements, even if she doesn't agree with them.
That's stupid. That's weak. He's not looking for... well, I always talk about this, like, I understand men that want to like make decisions and be the leader of their family unit, and that's me too. I agree with that. But the reality is like, you don't get whatever you want. Like, being a leader of a family unit isn't, you get everything that you want because maybe you make the more money or you do this or that. It's having an understanding of what's best for the unit of your family, not just you, and operating accordingly, and creating space for other people in that unit, specifically your partner, to be able to say, I don't agree with this decision, and have a conversation about it. Like, at the end of the day, I know that, like, I've made decisions before, and like, if my wife doesn't like them, she'll advocate for herself. And if after I listen to her, I'm like, okay, good point, like, we'll not do that. Like, that happens. Or sometimes I say, no, we're still going to do this because I think it's the right thing to do. And it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what happens. It's like, you see, it's not exactly the hottest take. Nobody's like, oh my God, that's so great. They're looking for these hot takes, man. Like, they're pathetic. But yeah, it's just like, that's what a leader is. But these guys are selfish kids. They're little babies that want their mom to clean their shit diaper up. So they want to do whatever they want to do because they think that makes them men. It doesn't. It makes you a fucking child. Okay, because adults don't get to do what they want. Adults have responsibilities. And then when people disagree with them, they throw a hissy fit and start hitting them, probably, right? Like, they're just get angry and they just start crying and fucking having a meltdown because they can't deal with any pushback because they're fucking losers.
If Myron stopped being chronically online, getting random statistics from TikTok, and surrounding himself with yes women, he'd realized how dumb he sounds. Agent ends off by saying that Fresh and Fit will just say whatever it takes to sell their online course and sell young men a dream that even they themselves know is a false reality. The average woman would never go for this one-sided open relationship Fresh and Fit promote their fans to have. They encourage their fans to live in a way that they don't even live by. They'll tell their teenage and early 20-year-old fans,
if you want to try to have an open relationship, that's fine. One-sided, that's I don't know, that's not going to work out for either, but
fans who have probably never had a successful long-term relationship, that it's okay to cheat on your girlfriend with hundreds of different women if you make more money than her, because
yeah, that's stupid.
Kings of the past have been doing it since the beginning of time. But what percentage
kings of the past married their fucking brothers and sisters and had babies with disabilities? Like, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole, but like, that's what happens when you end up having babies with your family. It's really fucked up. So let's just be absolutely clear. In fact, some of these crazy motherfuckers are crazy because of incest, because of how horrific incest was for their bloodline. So I'm not going to reference kings of the past because they are dumb. Just to be clear.
Of all men who have ever lived were kings. And how many of the men who buy Fresh and Fit's course will ever achieve that top 1% status? Fresh and Fraud aren't even in that income bracket. To be in the top 1%, you have to have a net worth of at least $43 million. Myron's net worth is $600,000 to $1.5 million. He obviously is rich, but I'm just saying that maybe Myron should focus on becoming the king of the country before he tries to live.
In the U.S., it may take you 5.81 million to be in the top 1%, but it takes a minimum net worth of 30 million to be considered among the ultra-high worth crowd, and at the end of 2023, this ultra-high worth population on the rise. Okay. So apparently top 1% is on about 6 million. He might actually be in the top 1%, because if it's that in the United States, then it's even like lower in the rest of the world, you know, because we have we're like the highest income country ever. We're a quarter of the GDP of the world, so...
like one in a relationship, and encourage all of his fans to do the same. It's also really ironic that Myron calls the host emotional and says she lets her emotions cloud her brain when he's the one trying to terminate entire YouTube channels just for disagreeing with him.
Yeah, I mean, men are emotional too. Men just get angry. That's their emotion of expression, just to be clear.
Let me ask you a question. Are men and women equal? Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, we're not.
Are men and women equal? I mean, like, what a stupid idiot question. Like, are men and women the exact same? Of course not. Are men and women equal? Yeah. Like... you might be like, well, men can do this, men can do that. Yeah, great. Men are generally stronger. Women can actually produce children. If I asked a question about race, like, are black and white people equal? Like, yes. The answer is obviously yes. Are we the same? Like, no. Obviously, I burn faster, right? Like, there are potentially differences when it comes to it. Equality when it comes to math is 1 = 1. Equality when it comes to people is much more complicated than that. We understand that. It's equal opportunity. Men and women are obviously equal, and they have different strengths and weaknesses. That's it. So it's an idiot conversation because he's not trying to have a conversation about men and women. Should men and women be respected the same? He's trying to use a fact, which is that men and women aren't strictly mathematically equal, to be hateful of women, right? But we all know that when we talk about equality when it comes to people, we're not talking about numbers or math or exactities. We're talking about specifics. Like if there's a guy that's 5 foot tall, would be like, is he equal to me? I'm 6'4". Yeah, of course he's equal to me. He's a person, right? Like we understand that these are equality. There are different things. Like I'm obviously taller, probably going to be stronger because of that. He can, isn't going to hurt his back bending over to get, cereal off the bottom shelf, right? That's how equality works. So again, there's a lot of people who will use facts to try to be hateful in different ways. So the fact they use like men and women are different. So that means that men must be better because they're physically stronger. Great. But like women can have produced children. That's another thing too. Something that men cannot do. I understand you need male cum, but men can't incubate a child inside of their body, right? So there are differences between men and women that give different strengths. Women tend to be more empathetic and emotional, which is a very positive quality. Empathy is something that helps spread knowledge. If you're not an empathetic person, then you can't be patient enough to teach or care enough about other people to teach them. You can't push the world forward. Men tend to be physically stronger. That's a really good quality as well. They have a little bit of a more logical thought process, which is a good thing. But like an emotional thought process isn't necessarily bad because we are people. We have a mixture of logic and emotion. Men and women like generally will bring a different flavor to different things. I've had male bosses. I've had female bosses. They work differently. And like they're all productive. I've had shit male bosses. I've had shit female bosses. Like it's just going to be different. There's going to be different general attributes. And like you'd know that if you worked like a real job in the real world, you'd understand that intuitively because you've experienced it. But for stupid little babies like Fresh and Fit and their fans, they don't do anything constructive. They don't actually experience the real world. They're fucking losers.
Not at all.
It's a trap.
Why are you laughing? No, I'm laughing because you're not letting me finish. So my point is this. My point is simply this. Men, that's how men view relationships with women. They might not admit this, but men are territorial with their women. This is why women that are promiscuous have a very difficult time
Well, yes, men are territorial with their women, okay? And women are territorial with their men.
getting men to commit to them because men don't want to be with women that other men have been with, or they don't want a girl that has high mileage. That's why when you went to the dealership, you paid full price for that vehicle. Right?
So just to be clear, men and women don't want a person with high mileage in general. Okay, guys don't want girls with high mileage. Girls don't want guys with high mileage. Just to be clear, people with high mileage are more difficult to be with in general because it's harder for them to commit, generally speaking, because they've been with so many people. That's what I would say. Okay, there's like a statistic that talks about both men and women have lower body counts. They tend to be happier with their relationships. Right? It's like the concept of of like once you get something, you want it more. It's like if you've never had sugar in your life, you're not going to be addicted to sugar until you have sugar, and then you're like, holy fuck, I need this, right? That's kind of how sex can be. That's like my experience with it, right? So just to be clear, like that's how it is for everybody. Men and women are both territorial. They might be territorial in like different ways, but like women aren't happy with guys that go around and fuck a bunch of girls. It's not a particularly positive quality. So okay.
Back home, then someone said, hey, I want to still be able to see her or whatever. You got a point of contention with that. Why? Because you paid full price for the vehicle and you feel like you're getting used and abused when you put all the money down. That's how men view relationships and marriage with women.
Can I now say something? Women sometimes feel the same way. We could be in a relationship with a man who's gorgeous and he's posting shirtless tops on Instagram, and we feel like, oh, that that's a thirst trap, right? You're wanting attention.
Yeah, and it's like, why do you want that attention if you're in a relationship with me? Absolutely.
So why is it different? You just think it's okay for a guy to do it, but not okay for a girl to do it because you're territorial.
Here's the thing: you're letting your feelings, right, get in the way.
I'm not.
Yeah, see, it's just like the condescension. Like Myron is a very emotional. Myron is one of the least intelligent people I've ever seen. Like this is not a joke. This is unironically one of the least intelligent people I've ever seen talk. It's funny that he resonates with people. It's because he's a fucking moron with confidence. He's confidently stupid. He just says things confidently, even though he's wrong. And a lot of times, like you can fake it with confidence. Myron is a very dumb, emotional man that has crybaby shit fits all the time.
This nigga's so dumb. She asked a very simple question. The same thing I just sat there and said. If a man is doing something also for attention, would it not be the same premise that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Then this nigga just sat there and said, you're just being emotional at this point. I can't fucking hear you. She said it already, nigga. These are the same two bozos who got upset about talking about, oh, I don't want my relationship is transactional. That's what they say. I want fire and desire, passion. That's what they fucking said. So if y'all the same bozos who believe that by their ideology, why would you even talk about women in a manner in which you're owning them? It doesn't make any sense at all. But no, she's not emotional. She actually asked you a very legitimate question about if the premise of why you're posting the pic on Instagram, male or woman, is about trying to get attention, then what does it matter? It still will be cheating. But this nigga fucking so blue pilled out. He's fucking
Stop it, please. Stop saying that word.
This nigga
I do the same. What do I do? What are you talking about?
don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. The shit they say sounds nice, but when you stop and really think about the shit they saying, it don't really add up. Can't have high mileage. You just can't have high mileage. But this is the same nigga who's saying that if I go out with you, I need to have sex on the first or second date. This nigga got me fucked up. I'm about to get bitch straight to my alpha mode, nigga. See, us is alphas, nigga. When we sit here, when we do things, it's not for attention. It's logic. Literally, your co-host does a bunch of shit for attention. The amount of chains he buys, and the amount of Lambos that he buys,
and yachts
that he puts women on. All that shit.
Yeah, it's true. That is all. Me too, a little bit. I'm good at Disney. I like to have fun.
For attention. If that's what you want to do,
I don't do it for attention. I do it to make my wife happy, and I enjoy it. So.
Fuck it.
Here's the thing: men and women are not the same. Women like attention. Men want.
Yeah, men and women aren't the same. But
sex. That's how it is. So when
what men and women both want sex, they just have different relationships with these things.
out there advertising himself, it's not the same as when a man is advertising himself, because a man's not going to get nearly the same amount of attention. And then on top of that, men of status, men that are attractive, that have money, hey, it's just exercising options. My thing is, a man is capable of having sex with other women while still loving his girl the same. So
no, incorrect. And I know people that are in like open relationships are going to find this like frustrating. It's impossible to have multiple sexual relationships with people and to love them the same. It's just impossible. When you have sex, men and women both release like a hormone. I forget what it's called exactly. Is it oxytocin? I don't remember. That will bond you to somebody in some capacity. I would say it's stronger in women. But you can't give 100% of yourself. Again, I used to be in an open relationship, and once I committed to just my wife, like, and there were struggles for it, of course, because I was and I've been monogamous for like 10 years. But once I started doing that, like, our relationship changed drastically. All my attention was onto her. I stopped chasing other women. I started building my brand better and more effectively. It takes time, and I became more successful because you're not sitting there chasing pussy all the time. It's a waste of time. Right? You give your partner more attention and love. That's what it comes down to. Now, you could argue that like being able to physically, sleep with other people, that could help you in different ways so that, like, I don't know, maybe you don't get bored or something. I don't have that problem. But like, you only have so much energy and effort and time and et cetera for in general in a day, and you give more of that away for the more people that you're interacting with. And I think that you'd be surprised if you counted it up how much you might be interacting with other people. So
it's not that big a deal. Wait, if your girl's out here and are fielding options, if your woman's out here fielding options, that's an issue.
Oh, sorry. So
he just wants like a one-sided open relationship. Yes, that's what he wants. And just say that.
Oxytocin induces labor. Am I thinking of the wrong thing?
Nigga, how do you get the sex outside of grabbing the attention from women?
You're actually saying that in a relationship, it's okay for men to go and explore other options, but we have to be happy with you and not explore options.
Absolutely. Closed on your end, open on my end, and I think there should be balance between the two.
That's crazy.
You can't just go throwing that thing around and women sit at home waiting for you to come home, ready to smell the juice of another woman on you.
Strong, powerful men, right, that have money and status, were always able to have hordes of women. Look at Hugh Hefner.
It's so weird. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like, if you want to be Hugh Hefner, I'm not going to sit here and insult Hugh Hefner. But there's a difference between saying like, hey, this is how I like to operate in my relationship versus saying, hey, this is how you should be operating, because that's how he operates.
Look at kings. Look at sultans. This is what women do. Women are attracted to men.
Mate, I spoke to Dan. I spoke to Dan Bilzerian. I'm sick of you asking to finish your long, boring answers that are the same answer every time we ask you a question. Even Dan Bilzerian last week told me to my face, yeah, so fucking what, clown? Here you are on the show. I can turn you off as well. Just turn these clowns off. See you fellas. Grow up. Bring us back when you're 30 and you've got half a brain. You're not running around being led by your own dicks. Bye-bye. See you later. Turn off.
I wanted to know what Dan Bilzerian was saying. I was kind of curious.
Well, Jesus Christ, these guys, I didn't mind having them on. Yes, we asked them to come on the show. Grow up, bro. Grow up. Even Dan Bilzerian said he's so lonely because the rooting around and the parties are fun, but the guy's lonely.
That makes sense, and I can appreciate the honesty from Dan Bilzerian for that, if that's what he said. I love open relationships. They can be done in many different ways. I'm super casual about it with my partner. We don't chase people necessarily, but more so if the opportunity presents itself, comes up. Okay, that's fair. You know, maybe I'm just a different type of person. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Enough of them. Once people go outside and actually start dating and stuff, like you're not gonna live the things that like the fit podcast told you. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna live none of that stuff. You're gonna realize that a real relationship is give and take, and that like it's not transactional, and that you'll most definitely have issues. Any situation.
Well, like there is like a level of transactional to it. Like in the simplest, like when we hear transactional, we think of it in a very disingenuous way. But like obviously, my wife is gonna treat me better if I treat her better, and there's a level of transaction to that. But like. When you hear transactional, usually I think what people hear is, oh, I'm going to lose because I fucking forgot that I killed the boss. When you hear transactional, you hear like there's a counting of the give and take. Did that make sense? Like, are you counting your give and take? That's where it becomes like a problem. I totally did not get to the pod.
Whether it's with friends, whether you're in a relationship, with your parents, you should be willing to do the most for the people around you because that's what a good person is.
But even if we were to live by the ideology that they subscribe to, they're still talking about a finite amount of men.
But they're talking about 0.0001%.
Even when they say the kings and very wealthy men back in the day, like all of those are very, very, very small amount of men. So to even try to articulate an argument based off of a lifestyle that like 1% of men live by, it's clearly not your audience. Not living because if it was your audience, then they just wouldn't be tuning in because they would be actually living their life. They wouldn't be tuning in. But furthermore, the only reason why those men believe the things that they try to tell them is because, like he just said, bro, they've never been in a real relationship.
After this video, there was a huge boom in red pill content on the internet, and new red pill creators were popping up every single day. Playback began reacting.
Yeah, a lot of the red pill popping up was Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate popularized like the red pill bullshit, like crybaby shit fit. And part of it was the direction that feminism went into. We'll call it TikTok feminism, because like again, women are cool, women's rights are good. But like 2020 was huge for like TikTok feminism. It became very hateful of young men, blaming all men, calling all men bad, etc., etc., etc. I understand some of that comes from a frustration with being treated like shit, but then also part of it comes from kids that have never experienced these problems, looking to have an identity and a victim complex. People in general are looking for that. Fresh and Fit are victim complex pushers. Let's be clear, they are the same thing. And so like that led to like that. The male hatred, the difficulty when it comes to dating, the not really knowing what to do with our incel men, because we don't, like, what do we, so we don't necessarily know what to do. The difficulty in interacting with people, the very closeted or very sheltered kind of like internet atmosphere. These issues are plaguing men more or different ways, I'd say, because men are usually the ones that have to approach, and it can be difficult to approach, especially in the real world. I'd say when it comes to like beauty standards, that's becoming more toxic for women on the internet because they have, we all look at somebody else's life and compare ourselves. Women tend to do that more in like a beauty standard way because it's a whole thing. You understand? Women tend to have higher expectation of beauty standards or traditional blah blah blah. But yeah, and so like all these different factors created like more room for red pill, for men to like, or some young men really, to feel like heard of like, hey, I have frustrations and issues in general. And then also for people who like had trouble having sex or getting girls, they had an additional frustration. I think things are winding down as people like, learn and get older and gravitate towards other, role models, like maybe their own fucking father. Drew Afuelo feminism, true, yeah.
Acting to creators like,
I wonder how she's doing. I haven't really seen her or interacted with her stuff, which I'm fine with. Like, I'm tired of like the unproductive, like nonsense conversations about stuff. It's just like silly.
Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Just Pearly Things, and many more. From time to time, if Fresh and Fit got really insane, Playback would react. Also during this time, sometime in 2022, Lowe's ex-girlfriend exposed him for cheating on her. I was honestly confused why.
Oh, guys, I think that's perfectly good. You should cheat, guys. Just like that guy said before. I think it's a great thing. Okay. Hey, you shouldn't do that, man. Not good. Apparently, I'm supposed to wish death on you, according to the chatter from before. But yeah,
everyone thinks that she was Lowe's wife, but I realized the marriage rumor started when Myron called her Lowe's wife on Fresh and Fit. Myron thought he was going to get Lowe canceled with this stream, but it didn't work. See, unlike Myron and Walter, Lowe actually took accountability for his actions and admitted when he did something wrong. A lot of Playback fans think Lowe has never addressed his cheating, but he has on multiple occasions. Here are some of the times he.
I mean, how many times are you going to address it? You know, at a certain point, you say something and then you just kind of move on. You know, like what are you going to do? Like, you know, because there's like I had like a cheating allegation. I used to be in an open relationship, and somebody pushed the idea of me cheating on them because some fucking girl was upset that I didn't want to interact with them anymore, because I was closing my relationship. So you know what I mean. So and that turned into like a whole like, oh, you cheated. It's like, dude, like people know. The first conversation I had with Destiny like 4 years ago or something, we talk about how I was in an open relationship. It's very obvious. But like, how many times are you going to talk about it or respond to it? It's like, okay, cool, like great.
Addressed it. In this clip, Agent confirms that Lowe was not married to the woman he cheated on, which is still not okay, but I'm just clarifying that since the rumor Myron started is that Lowe cheated on his wife. But at this point in the video, we should know Myron is a liar who does anything for views, so we shouldn't be all that surprised.
I can't. Yeah, should I really give it up? I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I cheated, bro, part of me was like, I guess I really do want to be selfish, bro. Like when I sat back and I thought about it for a while, I was like, bro, in those moments, I just wanted to be selfish, and I was with somebody that I guess I wanted to be selfish. You know what I'm saying?
It's selfish, but like, I don't think what you did with this situation is completely different.
Also, you don't tell me if you cheat. Don't tell me.
This is 20 years of commitment. The difference is like, first of all, you didn't say anything, so you just got caught. But like, you weren't married, nor did you have kids. Once you get married and have kids, like
you're like years.
You're like this forever. I don't give a fuck how you try.
Even before this Playback video, Lowe addressed everything on episode 258 of the Peer to Peer podcast, which was posted on January 6, 2023. Instead of being like Fresh and Fit and blaming the woman, Lowe says that he didn't communicate enough and mismanaged his.
No, I was flirting with OnlyFans girls. Don't lie. All right, so I'm not gonna get like stun locked by morons that can't listen to what I just said. So I'm just gonna actually hide you from the channel because you're a stupid fuck, bro. I was in a non-monogamous relationship. Like, yes, I was flirting with people because I wasn't in a like I've been in an open relationship for 10 years. That's what I'm saying. That's not cheating. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But like, again, there's like idiots like you that don't really understand that. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, how many times can you talk about it? Even bringing it up like became another problem because again, there's just fucking like dumb baby idiots in the chat. So that's what I mean, man. How many times can you really talk about it or bring it up? It's not like constructive anymore.
Own emotional lows in the relationship. Lowe also talks about how he doesn't want people to put him on a pedestal and think he thinks he's perfect just because he talks about other people on Playback. He also says that EDP is the only creator he's ever criticized who he doesn't think can redeem themselves in the future, which is true.
Well, yeah, because he's a fucking disgusting, degenerate piece of shit that was trying to like groom a child. Holy fuck, I thought.
Because even when he reacts to Fresh and Fit, he tries to see both sides and give them the benefit of the doubt.
I did cheat. It was 4 times.
Damn.
It was not a Kroger associate, but I don't really think any of that really matters. People also ask me why I cheated. That also doesn't really matter at all because it's just bad decisions. It's not the right thing to do, and so I don't want people to think that like there's a way to justify it or anything like that. Don't cheat. Don't do what I did. It's not good. I know many of you probably don't follow me on Twitter or follow what I do on Twitter, but I did address it there. The reason why I didn't address it on Playback is because I felt like that'd be kind of weird. It'd be kind of forced. Also,
yeah, I mean, you don't have to address it like everywhere. You know what I mean? Say what you got to say and then move on.
Polished. This is something that is more of a natural conversation to be had. So the podcast kind of is a better situation, like a better channel for me to talk about it. Also, my other channels are talking about like the NBA type shit. So that don't make no sense. And the reason why we didn't do a podcast earlier, we had guests. Everything is kind of set in stone. So we already had a schedule already set in place. So
just trying to help my young brothers.
Why?
I played the fifth because it's still, even though I think there's some of the details, it's still.
No, why did you do it?
Oh,
didn't you say you didn't want to talk about why?
I would argue because I just mismanaged lows in the relationship.
When you say lows, you mean lows in the relationship?
Yeah,
lows like lows and highs.
Your name is Low. I was confused for a second.
I mismanaged my alter ego.
Low didn't cheat.
No, I just
Marcellus a bad guy.
Why not just end it?
I think a lot of that was easier. It's easier in a moment. It's easier said than done. Or I actually a better way to answer is that I should have been just more direct and concise. The lack of communication was definitely there, but I should have just been more direct and concise.
Any advice for young black men, inner city kids that are struggling? You know,
I would highly
with cheating or with just in general. Okay,
advise kind of just knowing who you are and what you want in a relationship before trying to get in one serious. A lot of that just comes with dating, but just being honest with yourself and
that's fair.
Communicating with your.
Yeah, it's hard to communicate like all the exactities of like what should you do in a relationship. A lot of times you do have to like just feel it out for a while, feel out what you like, and figure out how to set positive boundaries and figure out what you're willing to compromise on and like what you need in order to feel like you to compromise, you know,
with your partner.
When Lo addresses his cheating, he's 100% authentic and doesn't try to convince the world that his entire past relationship was all just for a troll or blame it on feminism and the Matrix. Cheating is obviously
that's based though. Do that. It's based.
A terrible thing, but because Lo actually
gaslight, gatekeep, girl gross. That's all you have to do, dude.
Takes accountability and is honest, he's not a hypocrite like Myron and Walter. This is why Lo is able to maintain his fan base. Just look at this comment section from a Playback fan. Shout out to Lo for bringing up his infidelity, to be honest. I haven't always been a faithful dude myself, and accountability is important. Lo didn't even have to bring up his cheating, but he chose to anyways. This shows that he takes accountability, which ironically, taking accountability is a sign of a true high-value man, according to the manosphere. When Lo shares things about his personal life, he actually tells the truth. And he does.
It's funny because that was another thing that people criticized Walter for. Is when he allegedly got the girl pregnant. I don't know exactly if she got her pregnant or not. Oh no, he had beforehand when he got a girl pregnant, he begged her to get an abortion. It was like, oh, get an abortion, we can keep moving on our relationship, blah 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 blah. Then when she did it, he dropped her immediately. That's not taking accountability. You know what I mean? So that was another criticism of the situation. And pretending that like he didn't even like the other girl. He's like, I didn't even like you. It's like he was telling her that he loved her. Meeting the parents, yada yada yada. This guy is full of shit.
Doesn't talk about his life to sell an online course. Again, I don't condone what Lo did, but it's not like he didn't joke about his wandering eyes on a lot of their videos. On March 31st, 2023, in a video called Fresh and Fit, Is This Funny to Y'all? Playback reacted to Myron and Walter joking around and laughing with a guest on the podcast about how he gang R-worded and ran trains on white women.
Oh yeah, that's I forget what the guy's name is, but like yeah, they were laughing about it. Yep, this shit was pretty fucked up.
This guest, Charleston White, also publicly says that he advocates for R-wording women as well as verbally, mentally, psychologically, and physically abusing women. Lo talks about how a lot of men in the manosphere will blame the women if she gets R-worded, but then do things like this, joking around on a podcast about men luring women.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing Myron tell a girl who was like, yeah, I was assaulted, being like, you should have chose better. Like that, that's not a male accountability, that's weakness. That's pathetic and disgusting. Like women should just choose better. When they get sexually assaulted, but when men get taken advantage by women, and women are all bad, like incredible.
Men into a trap to do things with multiple men.
I don't understand like how we get to this point where like you're laughing with somebody who's talking, who's openly. You know what it feels like? About that.
It feels like they're afraid.
I remember Ab and Preach were the ones who started talking about that. I'm pretty sure they were the first ones to popularize that topic, and then people started talking about that topic afterwards. I would say that oh, I'm gonna fucking die here. I'd say more than Ab and Preach, or more than Playback. Ab and Preach definitely were the ones that like really fucking ruined the credibility more than anything else. Like I'm pretty sure they were the first ones to talk about that topic and like go in on it, and then like obviously other people talked about it after. Like I talked about it after that too. So.
Afraid to say anything in opposition to him.
But I've been saying it about the red pill, or at least some people in the manosphere for the last year now. They just don't like conflict amongst other men. This is like such a layup of like, hey, we should probably not talk about stuff like that.
Fuck that. Just correct him. Like no,
that wasn't cool.
Hey, friend. Hey, friend, don't say that. You know what I mean?
Dad, you're like, oh my god, choo choo. Oh my goodness, choo choo.
One thing, they laughed about it crazy. They found a way to justify it crazy.
Like no pushback at all. I just don't understand the concept of no pushback. And the problem is that
because they don't push back as men. They're cowards and they're fucking losers, and they don't care that women get raped. Like they do not care about that. That's not something that bothers them. They don't care about or respect women. They probably think it's funny when women are raped. Like I wouldn't doubt that. They do not care about women. They think that women are a possession and that they're property. I wouldn't doubt that Fresh and Fit would take it one step further and think that like it's funny or not even care if a woman gets raped. They don't care. They like legitimately do not respect women. They've told women to their face that like it's their fault for being raped. They should have chose better. Like you don't think that they don't care that women get sexually assaulted. Like I don't think that's a particularly hot take. I think that's pretty that makes sense.
Fit and many people like in the manosphere, they're constantly like advocating around this idea that like when it comes to women in these type of situations, they for whatever reason just like oh no, it's not as bad as y'all make it out to be. It's actually your fault. You need to be surrounded with some men who can protect you. Like you can actually avoid this whole concept. But then like you have a man who is openly telling you like this is what we used to do back in the day. We used to just convince women to come in here and they thought they were fucking one guy and then all of a sudden we just have 7 other niggas in there. And now
it's like running a train. It's usually non-consensual. Like you fuck one person, they finish, somebody somebody else comes in and takes the next, and it's like almost never consensual.
All of a sudden, because the woman didn't say no to that, realistically speaking now, oh, it's really your fault. You should have just said no. Like, come on, nigga, stop.
After this, Playback even tried to be unbiased towards Fresh and Fit. For example, when Fresh and Fit and Sneeko called out Rollo Tomasi for grifting by saying that all men should get a vasectomy in their early 20s in order to be a high-value man, Fresh and Fit and their panel obviously disagreed with this insane statement. This is an example of when the content on the Fresh...
I mean, why not? Why not get a vasectomy if you want to sleep around a bunch? It kind of makes sense, but I know Rollo's a fucking idiot, so...
Fresh and Fit podcast is right 2% of the time, so I'll give them that. But in this instance, Sneeko was the one making the valid points on the Fresh and Fit podcast, while Myron and Walter were just...
Yeah, now Sneeko's most valid point in his eyes is it's okay to fuck kids, so... Just to be clear, that is his take. You could say it nicer. Well, I think age of consent should be when they're mature. When is that? Well, I don't really know. Sneeko thinks it's okay to have sex with kids if they have nice boobies. That's what he's saying. Does he, that's his like hottest take. It's fucking disgusting. The guy's pathetic. He's a loser.
Sitting in the back, saying nothing and letting Sneeko talk. So this...
If they're mature. What? Okay. What does that mean?
This is really an example of Sneeko having a sound argument, not Myron and not Walter. In 2022 and 2023, it seemed like Fresh and Fit fell off of a lot of people's radars as bigger red pill creators started to get more spotlight. And
who is bigger than Fresh and Fit?
Surpassed Fresh and Fit in the media. Because of this,
there's like one other maybe kind of red pillish podcast. I forget what it's called. It's actually like a white Italian guy who runs it, I think. I forget that one maybe, but okay.
Fresh and Fit started to get desperate, and that's how we ended up with Myron wearing a KKK hood on stream on August 20th.
So maybe I don't think that he was getting desperate, so he wore the hood. He was getting this is the part of the emotionalness of Fresh and Fit is they were upset that Ab and Preach were clowning on them for being stupid. So they came on and they had like Zerka and Sneeko on, and they decided to do stuff like this because they wanted to they wanted to be obnoxious and basically just be racist towards Ab and Preach. And again, this is when they did the Donkey Kong PFPs or the monkey PFPs next to Ab and Preach, etc., etc. They were wearing like the KKK outfit, yada 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 yada. But I don't think it was because they were like desperate for views. It's because they're emotional men, and when they feel like they're doing well, they can't control themselves, and they feel the need to do dumb shit like this. So whatever podcast, are they bigger? Maybe the whatever podcast. Are they bigger? I don't know if they're necessarily bigger. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I don't think that they're necessarily bigger. I'm thinking of a different podcast, like PBA. Does that sound right? But I'll say the whatever podcast is definitely like more consistent. They have a smarter strategy. They don't have like crybaby meltdowns about people criticizing them.
2023, Playback uploaded our final message to Fresh and Fit. In this video, they cover Fresh and Fit being kicked out of the YouTube Partner Program. Agent talks about how he doesn't celebrate the downfall of Fresh and Fit, or anyone's downfall, but the YouTube Partner Program is...
I thought it was funny.
...a privilege, not a right. Some people might disagree with Fresh and Fit being demonetized, but at the end of the day, YouTube is a private...
No, I get it, especially as a creator, because like I don't really care... here's the thing. I don't really care if you can monetize like crazy shit of content like that. I don't give a shit. What I do care about, though, is having my content demonetized. And we all know that there was like a whole adpocalypse on YouTube where a bunch of creators got demonetized, and it was because there were ads running on some very suspicious videos that were like, not advertiser friendly, and advertisers pulled out. So I appreciate that YouTube is trying to get ahead of that.
The company. YouTube profits when content is ad friendly, and they can do whatever they want to maintain their business structure.
We all profit off of it maintaining ad friendliness. We don't need another fucking adpocalypse.
Lowe talks about the irony in the fact that a channel who abused its power to try to get other channels terminated got demonetized. He also says that Fresh and Fit should have been demonetized for violating TOS a long time ago. Spreading anti-Semitism, misogyny, and racism wasn't the only thing Fresh and Fit did to violate TOS. Lowe exposes that Fresh and Fit...
This video is good, but like honestly, a lot of these things are attributed to Ab and Preach, and like, Playback covered it as well. But like a lot of this is really Ab and Preach would have been like how they exposed the hypocrisy for the most part, other than like the couple of segments that are specific to them. But whatever.
Reached 1 million subscribers by advertising a giveaway for a free PS5, AirPods.
So this is Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, by the way.
A Rolex, and a free trip to their studio in Miami. Inflating your subscriber count in this way is against TOS. Agent talks about how Fresh and Fit are trying to make a sob story about how now they can't spread male empowerment. But in reality, their podcast was mainly inviting OnlyFans models on to make fun of them. And instead of Fresh and Fit fans leaving the podcast with their lives transformed with positive advice, hundreds of thousands of them would immediately go and subscribe to the OnlyFans models that were on the podcast.
And they just spend their time jerking off to those girls instead of getting fucking dates. So.
And make those models millions of dollars. They also talk about how Fresh and Fit
Yep.
recently adopted a new strategy for views. They moved from mainly being misogynist to being right-wing conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, they're diving into the only other available pool of viewers, which is that pool. And they latch onto it because they're already conspiracy brained. They already think Andrew Tate everything was a conspiracy against the guy who's publicly admitted to grooming women. So they're already conspiracy brained. What else is a conspiracy? Oh, maybe fucking Jews own everything. Obviously, stupid idiot talk, And then they latch themselves on a Nick Fuentes, who thinks that because Black and Hispanic people are doing worse, in the United States, outcome wise, which is generally becomes of systemic racism. But he just thinks that they're biologically inferior. But when it comes to apparently the Jews performing better, they're not biologically superior. I don't know. Doesn't really seem to collect. Which one is it? Are Black people inferior because they're performing less than, or is there a conspiracy by Jewish people to take over the world? It doesn't really make any sense what they say. So this is something to think about.
And even if they somehow claim to have pure intentions of helping young people, in the process of all of this, they have inspired hundreds of other copies of them to pop up, who don't have pure intentions and just want to be controversial because it's profitable. Lowe says that the biggest reason why he despises Fresh and Fit is because for years, they profited off of desperate men, and he doesn't feel like they provided enough value to these desperate men aside from allowing their fans to escape reality while watching their podcast, and then give those same women money on OnlyFans as soon as the podcast ended.
Yo, man, I ain't got the news, man. Fresh and Fit seem like they're over with. YouTube finally stepped in, demonetized the entire channel, so that means that they cannot make any more money on their videos or even receive stream donations. Can't even receive stream donations either, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
So they're now taking their show. Seems like they're taking a Rumble full time. And looks like it is over for Fresh and Fit. Oh man, what a journey this was, man. And
So why you saying
no, I'm just saying it was such a hard fought battle. They really were trying to save us. And who's gonna look after men on YouTube now that they're not here, man? Oh man, y'all niggas.
Oh, I'm sure they'll still be looking after men all the time. Myron loves looking after men. I'll tell you.
Sick, bro. You know, there's gonna be a fucking huge surplus of betas.
Yeah,
that's them on YouTube, nigga. Like,
I don't know what they're gonna do, bro.
You got producers and you got people who get guests and shit like that. All those people need to get paid. And so when they stop getting paid, you start losing those people, and now things begin to get harder.
Yep, and it's so funny because they're always talking about male accountability. Why did they get banned? Because of their own actions. It was pretty obvious that dressing as a KKK member and changing your profile picture to something racist against another content creator was going to get you demonetized. But you're not thinking logically on like the longevity of your channel, so you're acting irrationally, which according to your logic is woman's behavior, right? None of it makes any sense. But like, oh no, we're rational. No, they're not. They're idiots that thought that somehow them being toxic wasn't going to cause any potential issue in their monetization.
You get slower, and you have to start doing a little bit more of that work yourself, which shouldn't be a problem because you're trying to guide these young men. So it should be worth it.
It should be a passion project.
It's
all worth it at the end of it, man.
Yeah, it has to be because
man.
they're really passionate about it.
Very passionate about it.
But what ways would you say they guided men the best?
One, away from these whores. These 304s, baby mama drama, the Shaniquas, don't dabble in the brown, those black women. They definitely guided them away from that. Dodging accountability. They dodged accountability. Peak level dodging.
Deflection 101.
We can't forget about like the good credit videos. Like good credit. Oh, for sure.
As long as it's accurate, it's useful information. That's stuff everybody should know.
And that's stuff that they were saving the men.
I mean, dead
ass though, bro. Yeah, I mean, dead ass too. Who's gonna tell men how to build their credit after they're not here, bro?
I shouldn't be admitting this, but saving children, right? That was great. But saving you guys is better.
It's probably a blessing that the Fresh and Fit podcast happened, because if Myron was in charge of saving children, children weren't getting saved. It's just the reality of the situation. He's such a dumb fucking inept idiot that there's just no way he was good at his job. So, yeah. Just to be clear, probably better off that he decided to go and do this fucking idiot grift for money. Or he probably believes most of what he's saying. He's just a moron. But
I can't feel sorry for
that's where I was going.
Yeah, I can't feel sorry for these because they were unapologetic in their wrath whenever they felt like they could use their power to fuck other people over.
So they were purposely trying to get rid of other people's channels a year ago. We're all sitting here making fun of Jewish people. Y'all were
and that monkey shit was crazy.
I'm gonna say y'all did the whole monkey shit. Even though I know Myron was on Rumble with the KKK thing on and doing all that stuff, y'all did that as well. God forbid all the things that y'all do about women and stuff like that, misogyny, etc., etc. It's the Matrix, and y'all just want to get rid of them. No, there's several things that they were doing that many other content creators didn't say a fucking thing about, and they were doing the whole numbers talk. Oh, we about to laugh you niggas, and they lost a bunch of subscribers in the process, and then it became stagnant in their subscriber count.
yeah, dude, here's the thing. I'm a man, and maybe it's not a man thing, maybe it's a me thing, I don't know. But when you're doing well, you want to communicate to people that you're doing well, right? Like I do. I want to communicate, but like that's not a responsible, respectful, mature thing to do. So like my wife will especially be like, you got it. They don't do this, don't do that. Because I used to talk about my money a little once in a while when I was doing well, like at the beginning. She's like, you got to stop doing that. Like it's not productive. It's stupid. Blah 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 blah. You know, you're being full of yourself. Different struggles as a person and a content creator. Yada yada yada. My Fresh and Fit are just doing that all the time. Like when they're like, "Oh, we laughed. You look at us." Like they're bragging about like their viewers and their followers and their money and their this and their that, and it's all just like a brag. And I get it, like wanting to celebrate that, but they're trying to do it in a way that's like, "Haha, everyone else is bad. I'm the best," which is just stupid. I've never bragged like that. That's what they're trying to do. Like it just makes them feel more powerful to be stupid as fucking dog shit. And they're taking that and they're running with it, and they feel invincible because they're doing well. They're making a lot of money, so they act like fucking idiots, and they think they're untouchable, and they get touched. Okay, they get touched.
You know what these niggas did? Against TOS, a third-party entity. If you hit subscribe, you follow us here, you da-da-da-da, then you enter yourself into the giveaway.
Niggas don't hear about Fresh and Fit in all reality outside of the core audience unless y'all making monkey sounds or doing some other wild shit. Yeah. Like nothing you say is like transformative enough to like, and you can sit there and pretend like you're a net positive for the world, but bro, look at your audience, bro. Your audience doesn't even believe in the things that y'all preach.
Yeah, they're there to jerk off the girls. But this is the thing, because they were like, oh, people messaged us, said that I saved their life. First of all, I doubt that that's true. Second of all, if there's somebody that messages someone like Fresh and Fit and it's like, you saved my life, that means that anything would have saved their life. A fucking Taylor Swift fucking AI farting porn would have saved their life. Okay, any ideology they could have latched onto would have saved their life, because they're just looking to latch onto an ideology more than anything else. They're looking for a group to make them feel better about themselves. So they haven't saved anybody's life with their content. They're just full of shit. It's not that deep. And to think it's that deep is fucking crazy. My channel is deeper than Fresh and Fit, and my channel's not particularly deep.
But they will bring OnlyFans models on there, sit there, make fun of them the entire time, and then y'all fans will go and subscribe to those OnlyFans. They'll make tens of thousands off your fans. Yep. So as much money as you make from your fans, they make money from your fans too, bro.
Accountability is the top of priority list, things that men should be culpable for. But for whatever reason, every single time something happens with them, it's the Matrix, it's society, it's this feminist mindset that is captivating everybody, that's pushing us down.
The Matrix is absolutely attacking.
And so to that is probably the biggest reason why I despise you all. Because again, I don't think that the platform really provided enough value to these men, instead of allowing them to escape from reality for a moment's time through your lives, berate and bash women. And as soon as the live went off, they went back to living their miserable lives. We noticed because those same men will bash women and then go give them money on their OnlyFans.
After this, Playback said that they really didn't feel like reacting to Fresh and Fit anymore, because at this point, it was all just nonsense. But
yeah, I mean, it is kind of beating a dead horse, let's be real. But you know what? I love animal abuse. So I'll beat the fuck out of that horse.
Because of repeat,
and then I'll make very lean Porsche burgers out of it. Okay.
Repeated DMs from subscribers and a high demand from their fans to cover Myron calling Abba and Preach a bunch of racial slurs on June 2nd, 2023, they uploaded Fresh and Fit are blanks for this. In this video, Myron says a list of racial slurs and other slurs as well, and makes monkey noises, or as he calls—
Whoa, what is he, Hassan Piker?
them are slur noises. Low exposes a laundry list of things that show how hypocritical Myron is. For example, being overly emotional and sensitive, doing anything for attention, and not using their free speech on Rumble for male self-improvement advice, but using it to hurl racial slurs. Agent also says that Myron went from the guy who would try to dunk on women any chance he gets to the guy who makes racist monkey noises when someone disagrees with him.
Wow, what a great way to move forward as a content creator.
Even necessary, but we haven't really covered Fresh and Fit because we know that they're buffoons, and we're not going to sit here and lower ourselves to conversation to converse with them. And so after they did this whole, I guess, hit piece on Ab and Preach, it then took a completely crazy turn where I don't know why, but Fresh and Fit start running around making monkey noises and calling Preach and Abba monkeys. How dare you make a video about I'm migrant sensitive? Actually,
that's a very sensitive. That's a good point.
Wow.
It is very sensitive. It's very funny.
That's very masculine.
It's very funny that they are so sensitive. It wasn't funny what they did. Just to be clear.
Wow, that's unmasculine sensitivity. Wow, that's actually very unmasculine of you, Myron, to be that sensitive.
Only way that you can deal with these idiots is you can't out-logic them. You have to just clown them. That's what I figured out.
You can't out-logic them. Well, maybe you can't because you're a stupid person. But, you know, if you actually had the logic there, maybe you could have.
After everything, because they're going to always take things out of context. You know what? You want to call me racist? Let me put this on and roast you motherfuckers. You are monkeys. That's how you got to go with them.
Wow, that's one way to go.
That's one logic.
That's an interesting way to go there, bud.
I don't know if that's the best way, but it's a way.
Of course, Nico. Pearl rolls out. Oh, come on. No, we're down. Let's go. No, let's go. We're down.
Wow, even too much for Pearl. That's crazy. The one who thinks, you know, I know slavery was bad, but was it that bad? That's one of her famous perspectives after talking to Nick Fuentes. It's incredible stuff.
What happened? Let's do it. I don't know.
And here's another one of her great ones that she got fucking bent over for on the on Piers Morgan. Was Hitler that bad of a guy? These are all the great questions from just Pearly Thing. Incredible stuff. Is foot fungus really that bad? We're getting to that. Guys, do you really need to take penicillin if you're sick? I don't know what penicillin does. I know it has the word penis in it though, so I like it. A lot of comparable takes. A lot of idiot takes there.
Why do I feel like we're just moving in a direction where things continue to be divided? And the craziest part is, the majority of us is not on any either of the extreme.
The majority of us is in the middle. This is weird.
This is great. Like, deranged describes it perfectly. This is deranged. This is not comedy. This is unfunny. Don't ever compare yourself to a goat ever again, nigga. You're not touching even the worst comedian on an open mic that just fucking started, nigga. Let alone comparing yourself to one of the greatest shows in television history.
And y'all thought that we were overreacting, and some of y'all thought that it was just that one time, and y'all bought into this lie that they said, you know, it was one time we got caught up in the fame. No, that's just who these niggas are. They were responding this way back when they had 50K. They responded this way, and when they were going out and preaching, here we are now. They have 1 million, and they still are responding this way. Because if you're supposed to be red pill, you should be seeking the truth. You should be challenging these things, and that's the only thing I continue to get off. But don't grift like Pearl, and then pop in and out of frame whenever you decide to catch this wave of clout by participating in whatever they want to participate in. Because at that point, that's actually not red pill. That's literally the opposite of it. You're just caught up in the numbers and the fame. This is just weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you're desperate for followers, regardless of where they come from, you're caught up in numbers. Because that's and you know, again, this is something that I've like really come to terms with. Is like, I'm not looking for a ton of followers or exposure. I'm looking for the productive followers and productive exposure. Right? Like, I'm not looking to interact with people just for the sake of it to hopefully get some followers. I want followers that like will like me for my content, right? So like that's, you know, we're on that content basis. You don't want to I've had surges of followers before. And it's like you don't necessarily want that because they're not necessarily people that like you. You know, you don't want just any follower. You want like if let's say I got like a bunch of racist anti-Semitic followers all of a sudden. That's annoying. Then I have to police those people in my community. Or I have to lean into what they want, or they'll, you know what I mean, or they'll leave, depending on what I want to do. So for these guys, for Fresh and Fit, they get these like racist, anti-Semitic people in their community, and then they lean into that type of content, which pushes out other people from the community. But it gives them like, because they want to lean into it, because like every content creator will lean into what their audience wants a little bit. It depends on like what it is. There's a whole thing there, but they lean into it more. So they get these people, and then they got to do certain content or say certain things so that the people will keep watching. And then like this is how these things spur on. You know,
here's weird behavior. I've never seen nobody do this before in my life. Somebody of this stature, and he builds a lot to his name, just potentially just throw it away is crazy.
That's what it feels like he just did. Throw it away.
He just threw that away just for what? Like,
and you previously, I guess, were the nigga that would get women on there and just dunk on them. But now you're kind of the nigga that make those sounds.
yeah. You're the guy who decided when you had the opportunity on another platform to say whatever you want to say. This is what you decided to.
By September 2nd, 2023, Fresh and Fit was getting more desperate for attention than ever before. On this day, in a video called "Fresh and Fit Are Getting Really Desperate," Playback reacted to Myron saying that women's votes shouldn't count unless she works for the military or is in some type of government service. And
yeah, that's something that like Pearl popularized, saying women shouldn't vote because they can't go into the military. And it's like, okay, then men shouldn't vote because they can't produce children. Like, women can produce them to go in the military. But it was like a whole thing of like, well, men are physically stronger, so that means that they should vote more because being physically strong makes you smarter. I guess I don't really know. If anything, it makes more sense to do like an IQ test before voting, which I don't necessarily think we should. I think stupidity in our population is a result of a failing, you know, governmental structure, and that just needs to change in general. But yeah, idiot take. Men and women can do things that the others can't necessarily do. So crazy.
And if a man works at McDonald's, his vote shouldn't count either. Up until this point, Myron claimed to not be a grifter, but I think he got so desperate that he threw all of that out of the window.
It's so funny because I imagine most of the people that subscribe to Fresh and Fit are like minimum wage workers that are like looking for that, you know, desperately looking for some kind of reprieve from life. Does that make sense? You know, so if they'd be like, oh, you can't vote if you shouldn't be able to vote if you work at McDonald's. It's like, oh, you're pretty much talking shit about like a lot of your audience, like pathetic, because nobody that's successful is Fresh and Fit fan. Let's be real here. Unless their success hinges on manipulating other people for money, like Fresh and Fit, so other podcasts.
And join the club with just Pearly Things. But by the end of the video, you can see that Myron is not grifting. He generally backs what he says 100%. Agent talks about how if it wasn't already obvious enough before, now it should be abundantly clear that everything Myron does is for clicks and not male self-improvement. One of the hosts interviewing Myron and Walter talks about how a lot of men love to watch OnlyFans content and look at pictures of IG models and demand sex on the first date, but then call the same modern women who provide these things worthless. And it's
yeah, it seems weird. That's what you're looking for, no?
Just a vicious cycle. Walter's response to this is so hard to listen to that Agent wants to start off the video before it melts his brain. Myron then claims that allowing women to vote promotes communism in the United States because women tend to vote for Democrats who promise to give to everyone instead of only the best people.
I mean, like, I believe in social programs that are productive. I don't think that our tax dollars are being used productively. All of them. So that's frustrating. But like I generally, it's so funny because like the people who tend to vote Republican don't understand that they are like the biggest recipients of welfare programs. And you're like, that's not necessarily true. It is. But I don't know if you know this. There are donor states, and then there are I don't know what you'd call them, leech states. There are 10 donor states in the United States, and what that means is that those states, they give more to the federal government in taxes than they get back in federal grants for whatever it is. All 10 of those donor states are blue states, just to be clear. Okay? Every single, I don't know, parasite state? I don't know what you'd call it. All red states are like taker states, I'll call them. It sounds nice. Receiver states. Yeah. They're the receiver states. So when you hear like, oh, Florida had a lot of money that what is it called? They had a surplus of money for their budget. They did such a good job. They get more from the federal government in grants than the surplus they received, right? So like you're benefiting from this basically welfare while trying to vote against welfare. I say if we're going to vote against welfare programs, stop taking my federal tax money that I get from New York and giving it to people in Florida. I don't think we should do that because I enjoy strengthening the United States in general, and I believe if you make more money, you should spend more money percentage-wise of your paycheck because you know what I mean? I believe that. I believe in that. But if you're going to talk about cutting welfare programs and Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and let's stop giving you money. Why don't we stop giving you money? You know what I mean? So it's just something to keep in mind as we sit here and like fucking scream, cry. And I'm using Florida because they live in Miami. As people like scream and cry and fucking shit and come about welfare. I agree we should fix it, but it needs to exist. It's a good idea to have welfare programs. Like we literally pulled us out of the Great Depression as welfare programs. Like they're obviously overall a good thing. They just need to be fixed. So Florida's not a donor state. It's not. It is not a donor state. Absolutely not. Unless something changed this year, Florida is not a donor state at all.
Ends by saying that Myron's ideology and Fresh and Fit's own fans wouldn't be able to vote because they prey on desperate low-income young men. He also says that Myron is constantly reiterating that men have had more power in society than women since the beginning of time. But in the same breath, Myron constantly blames women for ruining society so much so that their right to vote should be taken away. Myron himself admits that since such a small portion of women work for the government, only allowing these women to vote would strip the large majority of women's voting rights away.
I think women should have the ability to vote, and depending on what position they hold, if they're in the military and they're some type of government service, then I think absolutely their vote should count all the way. But if it's just a female, she doesn't have any type of civil service or anything else.
What? That's the dumbest argument.
Yo, these niggas hate democracy.
Yeah, just
and the American flag in the background. By that logic, should we also have standards for what type of man should be able to vote?
Oh, no, that's what you said next.
Okay, good.
Okay, then I think it should be, and this goes for the men too. Right, guys, certain guys shouldn't vote either. If you're working at McDonald's, etc., should your vote count all the way?
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you be? But that's just like you're getting. Not, you're just getting to a point where you're only letting rich people vote. That's just a stupid thing to do.
Then it's not a question.
Oh God, that's one of the craziest arguments I've
ever heard
in a very long time.
I've ever heard in my life, bro.
Why do they think niggas that believe making less money, it makes you less valuable? Your right as a human in this country constitutionally is to vote. They didn't say unless you work at a fast food restaurant or make less than $25 an hour, in which case you should be able to vote, bro. If you work security, if you work entry-level jobs, you can't vote, unfortunately. It's just executive C-suite level, niggas with Bugattis and stuff like that. Their votes are worth 10x.
And if you got a Bugatti, it depends on what you drive, nigga. Yard space, the type of car you drive, nigga, your income, your savings, all that, bro. We need to know. If you got a Bugatti, you get 10 votes. All right? If you got a Ferrari, Lamborghini, you get 9 votes. You got a Camry, my nigga. Yeah. You get half a vote. If you have anything past 2005, don't even show up to the booth. Nigga.
For men, 25 plus bodies gives you double the vote.
But if you ain't get no pussy, I don't want to hear your political views, nigga. I don't want to hear it. You ain't got no political views. Because you can't get no pussy, nigga, so I don't know what to tell you, bro.
That's so deranged.
In your mind.
Bro. The biggest taker, Florida is number 3 biggest taker. What are you talking about? I think you read that wrong. Florida is the biggest donor. You have mean content, yeah, true. I'm not biased. Just look up 2023 donor states, and it was 3. Number 3 is Florida in takers. The 10 states with the largest positive balance of payments. The biggest takers are Virginia, Kentucky, and then Florida. Florida getting $50 billion a year as a taker state. I think that you misread what you were looking at. I understand that like COVID shifted things, but Florida definitely not a donor state, brother. But okay.
Women. It's a question of should people not engaged in civic duty vote? Yes, but to be honest with it, let's keep it 1,000. That's going to immediately put a majority of women as only half voters.
Right. Exactly. So we just beat around the bush. I don't know why you did all that. I don't know why you beat around the bush. You know what you wanted to say, my nigga. I don't know why you beat around the bush.
Oh, y'all niggas are trying to get clicks, bro.
Yeah, do you want to respond?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here, but I think part of the problem is that the view, I guess our views of women are so much different, because when I think of a woman, I think of a woman who runs a household and raises children and does the most beautiful thing that you can possibly do. So I see so much inherent value in, I think, which we agree is important.
That's fair.
Okay, but
no, you don't, because you don't want them to vote.
I kind of feel like what we're doing here is we've trained as men, women, we've incentivized certain behavior, and now we want to discount them because they're giving the men what they're asking for, which is OnlyFans, Instagram, ass shots, and then we're saying now suddenly that they're somehow less valuable.
Takes two to tango. Well, right. A lot of the stuff that we're saying women do, it's like men.
They're filling demand is all they're doing.
Well, we allowed them to do this, so you are correct in that sense, because as men we're leaders. But I will say that
We allowed them to do this. As men, you're not a leader, just to be clear. These people have like this really weird idea of what a leader is. You're not entitled to be a leader because you're a man. Men tend to want to be leaders, and women tend to be okay with being led productively, as long as the leader actually has their best interests in mind and let them advocate for themselves when they feel like they're not being advocated for. But men aren't just leaders because you're men. That's an entitlement complex. Oh, you're a man, you're a leader. No, you're not. These guys think, fresh and fit, they think that being a leader is getting whatever you want. That's not what a leader is. Again, a leader is somebody who looks at a unit that they are in and they advocate for that unit to the unit's best of the unit's ability. Okay? It's not like a leader isn't like, I get everything I want. It's idiot speak.
if we're talking about votes here, women are more easily swayed. Now, there's an agenda, though, of course. This can go deeper here, become more serious. But to be real here, men are at the helm of this because, once again, we put certain policies in place, we allow things to happen, and as a result, the family's destroyed. Now, when it comes to women, obviously, you're human beings as well. Equally, we're all human beings. But, to be fair, when it comes to voting...
Turn this shit off. The way he explains things really fucking pisses me off. Certain things you don't have to say, bro, because we all know that.
Well, we all know now. We are humans, we are equal. Women are also humans and they are equal. You know, the rhetoric that they spew, you might get confused sometimes, but...
Just the way he talks, my brain can't help but just stop thinking. Like, it just tunes everything this fucking goober says out.
As well, equally, we're all human beings. But, to be fair, when it comes to voting and political views, it can be swayed in a direction, which means, by default, you should vote. Look, man,
I don't know what he said. I tried so hard to. What did he say?
He's basically saying women are just more easily swayed because they're agreeable more, and because of that, then because they're more agreeable, then it's going to sway in the direction of women voting.
He should have just said.
Oh shit! I'm still looking at donor statistics, and I actually think Florida is number 3 now. Holy fuck! Apparently, that was all pre-COVID, but post-COVID, things have shifted drastically. And if I'm reading this right, sorry, if I'm reading this right, it looks like California is our biggest, because it used to be New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, California were like the top 4. Now it's California, Texas, Florida, Virginia, New York's still number 5. Damn, Connecticut's not even on this list. What the fuck? I don't even know how to look at and to see how when it gets to a point where they're donor states. I don't exactly know how it works, but it looks like difference between federal receipts and expenditures from federal budget for each state. It looks like Florida might be a donor state, if I'm reading this correct. I don't know. I really don't know how this is meant to be read, though. Because, let's see, they got 14,540 state government debt. I have no idea how to read this, to be honest with you. So Texas and Florida are red states. So I guess post-COVID, maybe, you know, I guess I have to retract that. But I have to keep looking at it. Where's Pennsylvania? It's number 6. I just don't know how exactly to see what makes this a donor versus not a donor. Because if you go down to 50, like Wyoming gets $6 billion in payments. I don't know what state government debt means, if that makes any sense. I don't know how you look at this. I don't really know how this is meant to be read. Let's see. Donor states are the states that pay more money to the federal government in taxes by residents than what they receive for funding. This amount is called the balance of payments. In other words, donor states are states where the balance of payment is negative. Okay. The higher the negative number, the more the state paid compared to what they got. How do you know this is negative? Or less like, okay. Larger portions of the budget rely on federal aid are less likely to be donor states. For this reason, states are the best equipped to change their donor status by relying more heavily on federal funds for their programs. Learn how to. Okay, so then what makes it like? Where's the? They don't see any negative numbers though. So is this? Donor states that pay more in federal government than what they receive in funding. It's called balance of payments. Shit. Okay, so I guess the higher your balance of payments is, but then like, why is this still $6 billion? Doesn't that mean that it's not? Oh, this is where you. What the? I'm so fucking confused on how this works. What is going on here? I'm so confused about this. They said like a negative number. Okay, let me continue this.
Tend to vote Democrat. They tend to vote for, hey, let's give everybody $1 versus giving the best person $1. They don't base their values a lot of times are not aligned with meritocracy. They want everyone to benefit, which is cool, I guess, if you like communism. But if you're a capitalistic guy, you want the best to succeed.
You like communism? They were just thinking about how they could destroy democracy a second ago. Why this red pill or manosphere ideology just crumbles? Because especially the men who keep blaming women for things.
Do you have to like look at the per capita, how much money is like what they're. So like how many people are in Florida?
If you all believe that men are the leaders in workforce, voting, and yada, 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 for majority of American history, then you would have to agree that men brought us to this point. It just feels like they're pandering to their audience because their audience, not the nigga with the Bugatti, $1,000, $100,000 watch who just peels off on a whore, who's not going to give, get hop in the car and then hop on the yacht. No, not that nigga. The nigga that's in y'all's chat, who then after gets done slandering the women on the show, then goes to her IG, goes to her OnlyFans, and then pays her money. Those niggas. And you all know for a fact that those niggas are y'all's audience.
Well, I guess all we know is California's #1. I'm just confused by the statistics because I would imagine that there were like the only thing that I'm having an issue with here is how do you read like this chart? I don't think it communicates. Like how do you read it in the way of like how much they paid versus how much they got? Does that make sense? Like I don't feel like I could see that on here. Like how much did they pay in federal? I don't know. I don't know how to read this.
The reason why what they're saying doesn't.
All the California people are coming from Texas. That's why. Well, California is the #5 largest economy in the entire world by itself, outside of the United States. Like, the United States is #1. California is #5. So, California being a donor state makes absolute sense.
That makes sense is because if they truly believe that men are leaders and should be responsible, everything that happens, a leader takes full responsibility for anything that happened, right? Then why are they blaming women 24/7 for their issues?
As of today, the majority of people have pretty much come to the general consensus that Fresh and Fit are clowns who will do anything for attention. In 2024, Agent and Lo have taken a break from uploading on Playback, but from time to time, Agent will react to Fresh and Fit on his Twitch streams. And Lo will react as well on his younger brother Omar's channel called Omezi. Recently, Walter was exposed for getting a woman pregnant, and Playback shared Omar's reaction with Lo on their community tab. I really do miss the Playback channel because they haven't posted in 4 months.
Oh, in 2024, apparently Florida's not a donor state anymore. That was only last year. I'm so fucking confused on how these statistics work, I'm being honest with you.
But I also hope that Agent and Lo take all the time they need for themselves before coming back to the platform. They are also both still posting regularly to their other channels. There's a million rumors going.
So, because looking at this here at like the donor states and everything, like Florida's not on there anymore. So 2023 they might have been. Prior to the COVID pandemic, there were 8 U.S. states considered donor states. The main reason that these states see a negative balance is that those states have some of the highest household incomes in the country, paying more federal taxes. This, however, does not guarantee that they would have more federal funding. Yada 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 yada. Okay. In 2019, U.S. was New York was the largest donor state. Balance of payments of $22 billion or $23 billion basically. Every dollar New York gave, they got 91 cents back. Okay, as we mentioned, this is what I'm looking for. Like, how do I see the amount of money that they get back is what I'm looking for. Because Florida in like 2019, like before COVID, was one of the biggest fucking receiver states. But then post-pandemic, these states with the least balance payments during the federal. Okay, these biggest taker. Wait, at the least balance of payments since 2020. Okay, within 2020, these biggest taker states with the largest balance of payments. Oh, yeah, okay, I read this wrong. I was fucking yelling at this guy before for reading this wrong. I'm a fucking idiot. No, these are the biggest takers are California, Texas. Wait, I'm so confused. Are these, wait, are California the biggest taker or the biggest spender then? Bro, I have no fucking idea how to read these statistics. I'm actually going to lose my mind. Because it says the biggest takers were California, Texas, Florida, Virginia, New York, which means that like New York is a big taker now. Like, I mean, I imagine that a lot of that would have to do with like the money that we got in federal aid during COVID. That makes perfect sense. But like, what is it now? I'm so fucking confused.
Going around about why Playback is on a high.
I just want to see The return, is this what I want to see? The return on tax dollars? This is what I'm looking for. I want to see the fucking return on tax dollars. This is what I think I'm looking for. Okay? It looks like Delaware is the biggest donor state. This is what I think I'm looking for. Ignore the article? What do you mean? What's the... Okay, this seems to be what I'm looking for. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. This is from 2022, you fucking bitch. Where's 2023? This is pre-COVID. This is 2022. This is what I've been fucking looking for the entire time. Right here is return on tax dollars. This is 2022. I wish I could find a 2023 one. Okay? But this is 2022. It's Delaware, Massachusetts. So this means that like for every dollar that Delaware gives in federal funding, or gives, they receive 32 cents on that dollar. So for every dollar that they give of their to federal tax, this is what they get back. Okay? So it's Delaware, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Illinois, right? Then Ohio, Washington, Nebraska, California, Minnesota, New York, Florida. So these are all the big boys all the way down here. Then once we now Oregon, Connecticut, these are ones that get more money back. Okay? And if we keep looking down, where the fuck was Florida? That's what that's what I was looking for. Where was that? Let's just put an F there. FL Florida. Oh, Florida. So Florida is a big return state. Okay. Wow. We learned something new. Damn, dude. I thought there were only 10. Things must have shifted. Things definitely shifted post-COVID. Okay. Incredible. So once we hit 2023, well, we should have. Why don't we have 2023%? Let's get out of this. This is enough of this.
I personally don't believe any of them. For example, if Agent and Lowe had a falling out, Agent's channel wouldn't still be linked to the homepage of Lowe's basketball channel. And they wouldn't have shared Omar and Lowe's video to the Playback community tab a few weeks ago. I'll link Omar's channel in the description box below so we can help him reach 20,000 subscribers.
I'm really happy that we figured it out, guys. That was very important because I made a point that would have been good if this was pre-COVID. We haven't been pre-COVID for 5 years. So it was a bad point about donor states. So I'll have to retract that, but I'm going to leave all my yapping in the video about it. So
on his channel, he keeps you guys up to date on everything going on.
Because the elderly population died. Is that really a big part of it? Holy fuck, that actually makes sense. If a lot of old people died in retirement states that were receiving like retirement money, that would make a lot of sense. But then you'd argue that they gave into that money. What an interesting world. But you know what? We learned that I'm not going to use that argument anymore. Okay? It's time to no longer use that argument anymore because it was not a good argument. It's an out of context argument. So, hey, time flies, baby. Hey, but that's okay. We are learning.
In the manosphere and more. Also, the theory that Lowe doesn't want to do Playback because he was exposed for cheating doesn't really make any sense since they continued to post for a year after all of this happened. Agent and Lowe have also never publicly addressed why Playback is on a break. So
maybe they just got tired of making the content together and they want to do other things.
I assume they'll return soon. If they were done forever, they would have announced that already, just like what they did with the peer-to-peer podcast. But thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video.
All right. Cool video, man. And also we learned something new. And that's the best gift of all.